Welcome back to a brand new Flick Pick Live late night edition. Thank you so much for joining me on this Easter Eve. And by the way, I want you all to know I broke into your house last night and hid some Easter eggs in some very vicarious places. So good luck finding those. And without further ado, thank you so much for joining me for another live show where we can talk about movies, I can answer your questions, and most importantly, I can sip on a caffeinated beverage. And that is one tasty caffeinated beverage. So how are you guys doing? I hope life is going swell. And I figured we could just talk about some movies because it's been a few weeks, a few very long weeks since I've seen your beautiful faces. And since you've seen my disgusting disfigurement that I wear around in society known as my face. And I missed you guys. So here we are, and let's just pop some party poppers, eat some popcorn, and have a good time. All right. So we got some YouTube members in here. We got Anthony. How's it going, Anthony? John, I ditched my family to be here. Well, thank you so much for your dedication. And I like to think I'm better than your family. So thank you for that, Anthony. Skylar Wheelock says, I'm ready for some late night live show. I said that in a Nick Cage voice. What's the matter? You want to watch some Flick Pick Live or something? And by the way, a quick shout out from a few live shows ago. I missed this question, but it was from Chad Hagen, who had a birthday, and he was turning 40 years old. 40 years old, man. It's scary, isn't it? You know, you got half your life ahead of you and half of it's gone. But I want you to enjoy the remaining years that you have. I'll be 40 in another year, so happy birthday, Chad Hagen. I hope you had a good birthday a couple Sundays ago. And here's a party popper for Chad Hagen, man. I hope you had a magical and mystical birthday. So if you're in here tonight, let me know. I hope you are. All right, who else do we got in here? We got some other members in here. We got James Dozier. How's it going, James? Hey, John, I just watched Super Mario Galaxy movie today. It was all right. You know what? We're going to talk about the Super Mario Galaxy movie. We are going to talk all about that movie. And I want you to know, I have not seen the movie, but I feel like I have a lot to say about the movie. What do you think of the current WWE product? As a dude who watches wrestling on a weekly basis, I will say this. I have been looking at my phone more during Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown than ever before. The advertisements on those programs have become almost blatantly obnoxious. I don't know how anyone actually watches the shows without looking at their phone or getting up to do something else. Because I think there's an advertisement every 7 minutes. And then they have it's not 1 or 2 or 3 ads. No. There's 8 ads that they play on Netflix for Monday Night Raw. It's obscene. When it's good. But man, it's been pretty mediocre lately. But I did buy tickets to Monday or Saturday night's main event coming to Fort Wayne, May 23rd. So I'm hoping that's a good show. I like wrestling, but it's just the weekly TV shows are almost unwatchable. Noom Tal Dude says, I saw Project Hail Mary. I really enjoyed it. Amaze. Astrophage question? I'm glad you liked it, man. I liked it too. I saw it twice. I will say, I think the second time I watched Project Hail Mary, I found it more enjoyable. And coming from the book, I love the book. And the first time I watched the movie, it sort of felt like they were doing a speed run of the majority of the plot points from the novel. And I feel like as far as an adaptation goes, it's a solid adaptation. I think Ryan Gosling's really good. I think they got the character Rocky. They did a really good job with that character, and there's not a lot to complain about. But I have heard that there is a very, very long director's cut of Project Hail Mary. And part of me feels like that would give me what I wanted coming from the novel. Because some of the plot points, they just zoom right by him in the film. And I'm like, whoa, what happened to the suspense? Because half of the enjoyment that makes Project Hail Mary so great was the brainstorming and coming up with the fixes and sciencing the shit out of things and figuring it out. That's where the suspense comes from. And when you skip over some of those things, it just sort of feels like you're just hitting the surface level plot points. But I get it. You know, you can only cram so much into a 2-hour and 40-minute movie, and I understand all of that. But that's another thing we are going to talk about tonight on this live show, is I want to talk about the runtime of modern day movies. So that'll be another topic we dive into. And you guys are killing it already, so thank you so much. Hey dude, do you know you have fans in the Philippines, and I'm one of them? Well, I knew that, but now you confirmed it, so thank you so much, Brianne. And is it... Oh, Brianne Anden 06? Well, thank you so much. Sometimes when I'm just living my life, I forget people watch my videos. I forget I have fans. It's bizarre. Skylar Wheelock says, WWE right now feels like WCW 2000. Yeah, it's getting there, and that's what I don't like. All right. Should they make a film out of Artemis by Andy Weir? That was a joke. I did not watch Artemis. Is that the one where they go to the moon and it's like a young adult novel? They might. Now, I've heard that they want to actually potentially make a Project Hail Mary Part 2 because the first one was so successful that, well, whenever you have a movie that makes a lot of money, you get a Part 2. You get a sequel. And I would be okay with that. I do feel like there's enough meat on the bone of Project Hail Mary where you could make a Part 2. I really do. Do I think it'll be better than the original? No, I didn't say that. All I'm saying is I would watch a Part 2. Did you see the wig on The Rock, John? Okay, well, let's make this the first topic of tonight. The Rock wig Moana. I wasn't planning on talking about this, but I think we should talk about this. It's very important that we do. Okay, so let's talk about The Rock's wig from the live-action Moana movie coming out at some point this year, maybe next year. It's coming out at some point in life. And the biggest question you have to ask yourself is, do you actually care when it comes out? And I know I do not. So let's look at this bad boy. Here's The Rock. Not only is The Rock wearing a $4 wig from Party City, and I think that's giving it too much credit. Not only is The Rock wearing a wig from the Dollar Tree, he's also wearing a muscle suit. Now, I saw some early set photos of this movie last year, and I get it. Maui's a very big, bulky dude. It's an animated movie. And I get why The Rock is wearing a big padded muscle suit. Now, The Rock himself is also a very large man. Now, lately, I think he got off the TRT and he shrunk down and lost about 47 pounds of muscle mass. And that's okay. When you get that old, your heart just can't handle that much testosterone without popping. So I understand from health reasons why The Rock would want to slim down. And I'm okay with all of that. But what I'm not okay with is that wig. Look at that. Look at that abomination atop of his head. Now, it looks a little too dried out. It needs a little more thickness to it. It looks like it's just setting atop his head. Like, even if The Rock had a full head of hair, that hairline and that wig just don't make any logical sense. And I don't know how I feel about this. That hair is just so light and flowy. They need to add a little grease or baby oil to it or something. Weigh it down a little bit. It looks so thin. It looks like he's wearing one layer of hair extensions. Anyway, when it comes to the live-action Moana movie, I think the animated movie's fine. I've seen it once. I get why people like it. But when it comes to the newest trend of live-action Disney movies, they all sort of feel like they're underwhelming, don't they? Like, what's the last great live-action Disney movie you've seen based on an animated classic? For me, I still think The Jungle Book by Jon Favreau from 2016 is probably the best live-action Disney remake. And I will say this, I actually think that live-action remake of The Jungle Book might just be better than the animated version. Because when it comes to The Jungle Book, to be completely honest with you, and go back and watch it if you don't believe me, it's really not that great. There's some cool stuff, but I think the live-action version is more entertaining. So anyway, going back to this wig atop The Rock's head, it's terrifying, to say the least, isn't it? I want this wig now. It's pre-made up wig. Imagine John wearing that wig. I've worn wigs like that. Wigs that look better than that. Wigs that I got from Party City and sat in a closet for 6 years and I put on my head that were missing half the locks attached to the wig. I have YouTube wigs I've worn that look better than this. And this is probably like a $220 million movie. So anyway, it looks pretty bad. I hope they add some CGI thickness to the hair. Because if that thing's just dangling off the side of his head the entire movie, that's going to be really distracting and maybe even unbecoming. But anyway, let's just move on. Let's move on right now. All right. Let's see what you guys had to say here. We got the first question up is going to be from Robert Giacinta. How's it going, Robert? Thank you so much for joining me on this late night live show. And the reason I'm doing this so late is it's just been a very hectic couple of weeks. And this was literally the first moment I've had all week to hang out with you guys. So don't you just love life and adulthood? It's so fun. I like it. Okay, here it goes. Robert Giacinta says, John, when I was going to spank the monkey job, let's back up here. Did I read that right? Just when I was going to spank the monkey, John decides to go live. All right, you've got my attention. Also, found Sling Blade on DVD, thought of you. Well, thank you. And every time I want you to spank your monkey, I want you to think of me. And if you're spanking it right now, by all means, keep going. That's not what I meant to say. But anyway, Robert, thank you so much. Here's a party popper before you pop. So thank you, Robert. Thank you so much for those insights. Let's just continue on. Mr. Mindtrick 99 has become a member. Yay! Thanks, Mr. Mindtrick. Thank you so much. All right, let's keep going here. The next one comes from Sal5227, who says, does Project Hail Mary book dive deeper into Rocky having a mate, and does that go anywhere special? Yes, so I will say every plot point in the movie Project Hail Mary, and I won't spoil anything if you haven't seen the movie, but I will say this. There is more backstory to every nuanced plot point in the movie, and they do elaborate a little bit more on Rocky's mate. They also elaborate more on the science and the physics of Rocky's home planet a lot more in the book, and they give you a better understanding of how Rocky actually operates as this alien life form, which I found immensely interesting, and the movie kind of just negates all of that stuff. Also, there is an entire sequence in Project Hail Mary where Rocky does get injured, and they kind of they have that in the movie, but they cut a lot of it out. So anyway, there's a lot of stuff they cut out. So my biggest recommendation to you is if you've read or if you watch Project Hail Mary, go listen to the audiobook. It gives you more backstory, and I think you will quite enjoy it. And I'd be interested to know if you've seen the movie and then you go listen to the audiobook, which one do you actually prefer a bit more? I'd be interested to know. I like the book. I like the movie quite a bit, but I love the book. All right, let's keep going. All right, the next one comes from, and by the way, Sal, thank you so much for the question. You get a party popper right to your melon, man. All right. The next one comes from Skylar Wheelock, who says, Forrest Gump makes no sense to kids today because they have zero conception of 20th century history. Why is this? Well, the further you get removed from history, the less relevant it is. You know, it's like I'm a kid of the 90s. Of course, I know about all the pop culture things that happened in the 90s in the movies, but kids born in 2006, they might pick up on some of the references, but a lot of it just goes over their head. Also, I think right now, most of society and younger children or younger generations are so inundated with social media nonsensical nothingness that they don't really take the time to learn anything from a history book. They're just like, what did TikTok tell me today? And they're at the mercy of whatever their algorithm craps out in front of their eyeballs. So that could be, I don't know. But I remember being a kid watching Forrest Gump and still understanding some of the historic references in the movie. So, and maybe that's because I grew up with adults around me talking about it. I don't know. I think the biggest takeaway is people are becoming dumber, especially children. I think the IQ has dwindled the more social media we're inundated with because we don't have to think anymore. Why would we? You just type it into ChatGPT. It thinks for you. You don't, like, everyone's brain is baby food and mush. And if you sneeze too hard, it'll leak out of your ear. Trust me, I'm on the verge of that happening right now. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from, but that is a great question, and I do agree with you. I think it's just kids are stupid now. Butch Scissorleg says, what's your favorite Kid Cudi song? I don't listen to modern day music. I don't even know what that is. I don't even know who this is. Kid Cudi is the stage name of Scott Roman. Maybe I've heard his stuff, man. I don't listen to anything that's new in music. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't think. What's your favorite song of his? I don't have one. And I probably never will. But I'll tell you what you know what I listen to today? Sometimes, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes when I come across a meme on like Instagram and there's a song attached to said meme, sometimes I'm like, that's kind of catchy. I like that. And the newest one I have, listen to this. I got to play this for you. It's called Children by Robert Miles. Maybe you'll know it. Barbie Girl? I like me some Barbie Girl. I'm not going to lie. Okay. All right, let me dive into a couple movie topics before we keep moving on. That Kid Cudi thing threw me off. I don't know modern day artists. And I know someone said he's been around since 2008. I have no clue, man. Okay. Let's talk about... You guys want to talk about... Okay, let's talk about this. So, the new Super Mario Bros. Movie, Super Mario Galaxy, it's a me, Mario! And let me say this. I have not watched this new Mario Brothers movie, and I almost don't know if I ever will. Now, I did see the last one that came out a couple years ago. I thought it was instantly forgettable, and I'm a dude who grew up with Super Mario World. I think it's one of the best video games ever made for the SNES. I played it on Nintendo, Super Nintendo. I played Mario 64. I played Smash Bros. I love me some Mario. There's nothing better than a greasy plumber trying to save a princess going down water pipes. I love that. And occasionally he rides dinosaurs. Even better. And he steps on little mushrooms. So suffice it to say, I love me some Mario. And I think that movie that came out a couple years ago was, I think it was a movie that families could watch and you'd instantly forget about it. The best way to describe it is it sort of just feels like IP slop without a story, capitalizing on iconic characters that everyone has come to know, but they put that all in a very mediocre movie with a whole bunch of pop culture references that won't be relevant in 2 years. And they say, hey, here's this, watch it. And you watch it and you go, well, okay. And then you move on with your life and never think about it again. So right now on the internet, the consensus is the sequel isn't that good. A lot of people say it's pretty bad. Now, that was my theory when I watched the trailers for this. I thought it looked pretty mind-numbingly bad, and it just looked like IP vomit. And I think that's sort of what the movie is. And if you've seen the movie, is that more or less what you got from it? I'm not saying that you can't like Mario or Star Fox or Donkey Kong. Then again, listening to Seth Rogen voice Donkey Kong is, I don't know if it's what I want. Hey, Mario, you want to have a banana? But anyway, this is a movie for 5-year-olds and not a movie that's really going to give you much more than just visual stimulation. And that's really unfortunate because I feel like if these types of movies could have the same treatment as like something like the first Shrek movie or like a Pixar movie or like a Toy Story, where you could utilize these characters in a much better way to tell a real heartfelt story that makes you feel something. And it just so happens to be a Super Mario Brothers movie. I think you could do that if you wanted to, but they're just slopping this stuff out to make a quick buck. And speaking of a quick buck, well, this movie in just a few days has made $188 million. That's in the US. Globally, it's made $371 million in like 4 days. Now, it is the spring break vacation for most people and families, and there's not a lot of new family movies to watch in theaters, and CGI kid movies always do well, you know? And I understand all of those things, but just imagine if this was like a good movie and had something to say that would live on for years to come, that would have rewatchability. Wouldn't that just be everything you wanted? Now, I haven't seen the movie yet. At some point, maybe I will. Probably not, though. I feel like there's better things to do in life. To be completely transparent with you, I'd probably rather rewatch the 1992 abomination against humanity called Super Mario Brothers with John Leguizamo. What is this, a giant booga something? But anyway, the movie made a lot of money, and it's the biggest 5-day domestic launch since Disney's Moana 2, which was sort of another bad movie. But anyway, have you guys seen this? What do you think about it? James Dozier says, for me at this point, I would just play Mario, then watch the movie on the big screen. I agree with you. I have Super Mario World on my SNES Classic right beside me. And sometimes when I'm having a bad day and I want to escape reality, I play that shit. And I love it. And listen, if I'm feeling a little bit frisky and I just want to get to Bowser's Castle, I do take Star World. So those are my thoughts on the Mario movie. I haven't seen it, and I kind of don't want to. IP vomit. He actually spelled P-E-E. I like it. It's fan service over good storytelling. This is not a good thing. Yeah, whenever you just start throwing every classic Nintendo character in there for a cameo, and they have nothing to do, nothing to say, and it just cuts to the next thing. Like, okay, sure. Just make a Super Smash Bros. Movie. Have a fighting tournament or something. If you want to throw all the characters in there, just do that. That actually sounds like a better idea at this point, doesn't it? There's a difference between family movies and kids movies. Shrek is a kids movie. Despicable Me is a family movie. Super Mario is for kiddo. Whoa. Now, I'm gonna disagree here. I think we're splitting hairs. We're splitting hairs a bit much. I think the first Shrek is by far a family movie. It's absolutely a kids movie, but it's also a family movie. That's something I feel like most adults, there's humor in that movie that most adults can appreciate. You know, there's storytelling elements that I think people can appreciate. I've never watched one Despicable Me movie, and I refuse to. So I have nothing further to say on that. Saw the Super Mario Bros. In 1993 in the flicks. It was hilarious. Bad. Yeah, dude, I saw that movie 3 times with my sister back in 92, 93. It was around the same time Home Alone 2 came out. I swear it was in like the same 6-month period. Anyway, we would we were poor, so we went to the Dollar Theater and rewatched those movies like 3 to 4 times. That's what we did. What kind of name is Shrek? Scottish. I don't know. Shrek is a hardcore kids movie. No, the first Shrek can be a family film. I disagree with you. A good kids movie is also a family movie, but a bad kids movie is only a kids movie. Does that make any sense? Don't correct me if you think I'm wrong. Okay, let's go to the next topic here, and the next question is going to come from... It's coming from Daniel Glassman 303. How's it going, Daniel? Love you, John. That sweet face. What's the new job? I do home inspections. I'm a home inspector. I look at houses. I document things. I look for problems. I climb on top of things. I find termites in the basement. And I tell you, if the biggest investment of your life is worth buying, but in a very objective way, without actually saying if it's worth buying or not. I leave that decision up to you. But that's what I do. It's going okay. It's kind of getting repetitive, monotonous, and slightly boring, to be completely transparent with you. But it's a good paycheck, so who am I to complain? I gave up my dreams and my freedom for a little bit of consistency, and shame on me. Thoughts on Shelby Oaks. I have a 20-minute review of the movie. If you'd like to watch it at any time at your leisure, just Google that shit and you will find my thoughts on said movie. Okay, let's keep going. The next one comes from Butch Scissorlegs. I like that name. I always have. Have you seen the 2000 movie Chicken Run? Thoughts? I think I watched Chicken Run. Chicken Run was the one where it was the stop motion animation where it looked like the Great Escape, right? Yeah, they basically made the Great Escape with clay chickens, didn't they? I remember watching that once a very, very long time ago. I thought it was okay. I thought it was kind of like a fun movie to check out. It was actually better than I expected. But the last time I watched that was probably on DVD in 2002, man. But I thought it was okay. I'm sure it's better than Mario 2, right? Why is Mario 2 so subpar? The first one was good or decent. I haven't watched it, but I heard it's just IP vomit with a lot of character cameos and not much of a story, where things just abruptly happen and you don't really care about things happening. And Jack Black voices Bowser. If that's a good thing to you, then maybe you'll enjoy it. German movies are good. Yeah, like what? What do you like? What's your favorite German movie? My favorite European movie is Irreversible. Okay, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from Johannes Gerald. How's it going, Johannes? John, you should check out Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. Yes, that's actually the title, especially since you love Back to the Future. It's a mockumentary-style meta-comedy about two delusional musicians. Honestly, my favorite movie of the year. I got a good pal named Alex, and it's also his favorite movie of all time. I watched a few clips of it. I get it. I understand what it is, what they're going for. I just haven't really had the chance to check it out. Once it hits streaming, I'll probably check it out. I know in the movie they use some actual old footage that they recorded years ago and implemented that into the movie as a storytelling element, which is very creative. So I've heard it's good. I just, at some point, I will check it out. I have not yet. You're joking with Irreversible, right? No, if you want to talk about family films, Irreversible, get the whole family together, plop down on the couch, make some popcorn, invite grandma over, and watch Irreversible, okay? You guys want to watch Super Mario Brothers Galaxy 2? No. Let's watch Irreversible. And by the way, speaking of Irreversible, I received Greenland 2 on Blu-ray. Not 4K, but Blu-ray. And really, when it comes to such a mediocre movie, I think the best way to watch it is on a lower resolution like 1080p Blu-ray. Now, I talked about this movie weeks and weeks ago when it first came out. I think the first Greenland is a fine little movie. I like disaster films, but this movie is just sort of a disaster. And it easily could have been so much more than it was. But it just feels like a cliche trope disaster film where they go from point A to point B and they're always in the worst place at the worst time. And it gets a little bit mind-numbing after like the first hour. And I would have been happy if this movie, just for the majority of it, if it just took place in the bunkers and them trying to survive. I didn't need them to leave the bunker and go on this cross-country trip, meeting all these boring secondary characters and doing all these boring things with B-rate CGI. I didn't need any of those things. But that's what you get. So when it comes to Greenland 2, I think there was a lot of potential here. I like me some Gerard Butler, even though he's in just every terrible movie that exists for the last like 10 years. Do you guys remember the movie Gods of Egypt or whatever that was called? Oh, so bad. Anyway, so if you haven't seen this movie, I wouldn't recommend watching it. Like the first one's fine, second one just not very good at all. Some very questionable character decisions as well. But anyway, that's the movie. I think we should move on now. Thoughts on the Backrooms trailer? I think that looks kind of cool. I don't think the trailer gave us much. But the concept of the Backrooms, liminal spaces, have always been a thing in my life. And it wasn't until my adulthood that I came across the term liminal space. When I was a kid, and let me tell you a backstory. When I was a stupid little kid, my mother, she would clean the offices of buildings in our downtown area. So you'd go into these office buildings late at night, and she'd drag me and my sister along with her, and it'd be like 10 o'clock at night, and these offices were just, it felt like a mile of cubicles, and every office building that we would go into, me and my sister would run around and kind of play as my mom cleaned, and we'd get into mischief and what have you. But anyway, I remember all those buildings having liminal spaces, like the stairwells and the elevators. It just felt like a weird, surreal, and it wasn't even until years later where I thought these were dreams I was imagining. And then I double checked that these things actually did happen. Like we actually went to these places and we were there at night. I thought I was imagining these things for years, and I was delusional and maybe even slightly crazy and slightly psychotic as well. But anyway, I just remember being a child running around these liminal spaces, these office buildings. And thinking back on it now, I think it was terrifying. And I think it's half the reason I'm just like screwed up as I am. I've lived in liminal spaces, and watching the trailer for the Backrooms reminded me of all of that. It brought it to the forefront. And I think I'm going to need some psychological treatment very soon because of it. But anyway, my point is, I think I like liminal spaces. As much as they freak some people out, I feel like I'm at home. So anyway, the trailer looked okay. Didn't show much, but I'm curious to watch the movie. I love baked potato with cheese. Who doesn't? Add a little bacon bits on that. Mr. Mindtrick says definitely psychotic. Well, thank you for that. Okay, let's go to the next one here. Thomas McCollin, 8391, has become a member. Yay! Thank you, Thomas. Okay, the next one comes from Skylar Wheelock, who says Liam Neeson's performance in The Phantom Menace is 400 times better than everyone else's. Why is this? Well, that's because Liam Neeson can act. But also, Obi-Wan in that movie was pretty good. So I think some of the dialogue other characters got just wasn't that good. But then that entire line where Liam Neeson's talking about midichlorians, like even that made Liam Neeson look like a bad actor. And then having to act alongside young Jake Lloyd. Yippee! You know, really, at the end of the day, you can't blame anyone else except George Lucas and some of that clunky dialogue he was making them read. It just, like, I don't know what it is, but listen, I'm not going to crap on Star Wars. I'm not. But the way George Lucas writes dialogue, it makes the best actors look bad. Like that, what is that line in the first, and Mark Hamill gives in the first Star Wars? I was going to go to the Tashi station to buy more power converters. something like that. Everyone said Mark Hamill is a terrible actor. I don't think he's great in the first Star Wars movies, but I think the dialogue didn't do him any favors. That's all I'm saying. But speaking of Phantom Menace, man, that was the first Star Wars movie I ever saw in theaters. And you can say what you will about it, but man, I was collecting all those Pepsi cans leading up to the movie thinking they were going to be priceless collectibles. Do you know what I'm talking about? Let's look at this up. Pepsi Phantom Menace cans. So yeah, leading up to the Phantom Menace, they had all these like collectible. They're on eBay right now for $4, so I'm glad I didn't hold on to these too long. Like Jabba the Hutt right here. They were putting out all these collectible cans that you could buy. And people thought these were going to be worth a lot of money. They're like, oh, these, you got to save these. You got to go buy your Star Wars Pepsi cans, you know, because Star Wars memorabilia is so collectible. But when you mass produce this crap, it's not collectible whatsoever. Like, could you imagine, like, drinking Pepsi out of Jake Lloyd's head? Could you imagine that? I did it as a kid. And we didn't open these cans. We saved them for like years. And I remember like we saved all these cans and we had them in our garage or something. And then they all exploded and we just threw them in the trash. But it's a good thing we got rid of them because as you can see, this Jake Lloyd can's worth $3.90. But part of me wants to buy it. And if that can was sealed, I would buy it and take a sip out of it on a live stream. Okay, that's where I'm at in life right now. That's what I would do. So anyway, let's immediately move on because we spent way too much time talking about that. Bad dialogue everywhere. Jupiter Ascending is even worse. I have a review for Jupiter Ascending. Go check it out. I haven't watched. I actually want to watch it right now. Do you guys want to watch my Jupiter Ascending review with me? From 2014 or 15? I think it was 2015, right? Sounds like a 2015 movie if I've ever heard one. Let's see this. Jupiter Ascending review. Okay, you guys want to let's watch. Let's just watch a couple minutes of this. Look at that thumbnail. Look at those elf airs Channing Tatum was pimping out right there, man. Now, clearly I did not like the movie, but let's check this out. I missed that title intro. That was good stuff.
Hey there, guys. How are you? So before we dive into Jupiter Ascending and we talk about that abomination against movie theater screens, did I just give away my thoughts on the movie? Don't worry. We're going to dive Galaxy vibe. A bit longer than that, guys. Here's my question.
What did I give it? What did I give this piece of crap? Where's my root?
That's a bad elephant impression. Let me try it again. This is some guy who's an elf. So I'm going to give you guys some backstory. There are some inner to the life of this movie. I wanted a fun space.
I gave it a D. I gave it a D. Okay. I gave it a D. Okay.
You don't like Speed Racer. Even if you...
Oh, yeah. It was by the directors of Speed Racer. I forgot about that. I think that's getting a 4K release very soon. So there's that. Okay. So Jupiter Ascending. Let's never talk about that movie again. Was that 10 years? That was 10 years ago. Ugh. Oh, Eddie Redmayne in Jupiter Ascending. I can still do my Eddie Redmayne impression from Jupiter Ascending. And hang on. And scene. I never leave here. Terrible. Disgusting. Back when John's mouth was extra large. Has my mouth shrunk over the years? I don't know. I don't know what. Yeah, it did look bigger, didn't it? Huh. Maybe I've grown. I don't know. Maybe I've grown into my mouth. I don't know. Anyway, the Wachowskis, yeah. The Wachowskis. Remember the Matrix movie that they crapped out a couple years ago? Remember that? Okay, let's keep going. The next one comes from Night King 01. How's it going, Night King 01? John, why does it say tipping will be unavailable past March 31st on Streamlabs? It says you have to update the tip settings. Interesting. I didn't know that. Well, I will update those at some point, so thank you for that information. I will say, my Streamlabs, my streaming software has been asking me to update it for like the last 5 live streams. And I'm like, nah, not today. No, it's going to mess something up. So I should probably get on that. So thank you for that. I will do that. Back when John looked more like John Cena. He can only go to the gym so much. And then when you get further into adulthood, you just don't have the stamina anymore or the time. But I like to think I got my biceps as large as I possibly could. And that's like climbing the mountaintop. Once you climb Everest once, you don't need to climb it again, do you? Okay, Dan5271 says, hi, John. Longtime fan, 10th time caller. I love you, man. Well, I love you too, Dan5271. I love you too. Don't be afraid to call in more often. I do appreciate it. And thank you so much. And thank all of you. But most importantly, thank Dam5271. And here's a party popper just for you. Okay. I'm going to pop another one off up in the air. Okay. Dustin Rich says he used to have a catfish mouth. Well, so did your mother, but I'm not complaining. I did have a huge fucking mouth. Look at that bad. Look at that. Let's get this thing to open up, shall we? Come on. Oh, there it is. That's a good...
Enhanced warrior boy toy.
Yeah, look at that mouth.
To the planet.
All right. Well, let's keep going here. The next one comes from Silvio 10708, who says, I love the content. Well, thank you. The content loves you too. You know, it's weird though. The more content I make on this channel, the more unsubscribers I get. And I don't know if these people signed up 10 years ago and I'm giving them something different, or if the algorithm's just kicking people out that don't watch or are dead subscribers anymore. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I'm not as cool as I was, I suppose. And that's okay. I can live with that. 2015, the year of Force Awakens. I remember being so excited for The Force Awakens. I was like, okay, Star Wars is back, baby. And then we got The Force Awakens, and I was like, I think I liked it more when it first came out. And then upon rewatch and knowing where the franchise goes after that, it just makes you hate everything about it. Like, it could have got better. Now, think if they just made the sequel better, and the sequel after that got even better. Imagine if they had an idea and a plan and a strategy. It's like, okay, we know where we're going with these characters we're introducing, and we're not just making it up along the way. No. And then you watch the rise of, what was even the last movie called? The Rise of Skywalker or some shit like that? Why is Emperor Palpatine in this movie? I don't know. Okay, the next one comes from Lee B. Films. How's it going, Lee B. Films? Who says, hey, John, have you seen The Peacemaker? It's the best DCU project so far for me. Also, Frank Grillo is in it. Did you like him in Captain America Civil War or his role in the DCU? Yeah, I like me some Frank Grillo. I actually think he was the best thing about the... oh, God, what is it called? The Purge franchise. The one Purge movie that had Frank Grillo in it, where it sort of felt like an Escape from New York movie, I think that's like the best Purge movie there is. Anyway, back to your question. I only watched a handful of episodes of Peacemaker. I couldn't really get that into it. I did like Frank Grillo in Captain America: Civil War. I did. He became what? Didn't he become Crossbones? And they sort of used him as like a C-rate villain, and then he just blew up or was easily defeated in one of the later Avengers movies or something. I don't remember which one. But anyway, I did like him in Captain America: Civil War. As like the lead henchman in that movie. I thought it was good. A great elevator scene. So, yeah, man. I like me some Frank Grillo. So, thanks for the question. Thank you so much, Levy Films. Do you like Cult of Chucky? I never watched it. A lot of the Chucky movies or later Chucky movies, I'm just not that into. Like, I like the first couple Chucky movies. I thought I thought Child's Play 3, where Andy's in military school, and then the climax of the movie's at a fun house. I thought that was a lot of fun, but like that was like the last good Chucky movie I enjoyed, man. And then you got the shitty reboot Chucky movie where he's a robot. He's basically just a little Terminator. They crapped that out like 8 years ago. So yeah, my love for the Chucky franchise has sort of dwindled over the years. All right, Gizmo Serrano says Children by Robert Miles was a huge success in Germany in 1996, reaching #1 in the singles charts and staying there for 7 weeks. Greetings from Germany. It's 5:30 a.m. here. Was it really? Yeah, listen, man. I love mid 1990s like techno music. I love it. I think that's one of the reasons I love the Mortal Kombat soundtrack so much. But thank you for that interesting tidbit. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, man, there's something about 90s music that just makes me happy. They just can't replicate it. But thank you for letting me know that, Gizmo. And here's a party popper just for you. This is the #1 hit tonight on the Flick Pick Show. These party poppers, they smell a bit more sultry tonight, and I like it. Frank Grillo is great in Daredevil. Yeah, as the Punisher, yeah. And he will have a huge role in the upcoming Spider-Man movie. So Frank Grillo's he's doing all right. Skylar Wheelock says, I have a hot take. Cinema became exponentially worse when gangster movies were replaced by superhero movies. By the way, does this lighting look too... I feel like the lighting in here feels really bright. I almost want to dim it down. Anyway, I don't disagree with your take on that. I think every new decade or every couple decades, they have their genres, right? You had the Westerns. Then you had 80s teenage comedy movies. And then you had gangster movies throughout the years. And we've had a lot of great gangster movies. And then since like the late 90s to now, we get superhero movies. And there's been a ton of great superhero movies, but there's also been a lot of bad ones. But the formula for success at the box office typically is a good superhero movie will make $1 billion because it's just easier. You have a built-in fan base. And if you just make a somewhat competent movie, unlike Morbius, people will flock to the theater to watch their favorite characters up on the big screen. So it's sort of like the easy formula from Hollywood for $1 billion movie. So I get why they do it. I just wish we had more great... It just feels like every superhero movie that comes out, I just wish they would treat it like The Dark Knight. You know, give it that same prestige and effort and craftsmanship. That's what people want to see. Just treat it like that. Don't hire these hack third-rate directors who only direct McDonald's commercials. Come on. Oh, did I get John Bernthal and Frank Grillo mixed up? You're right, I did. They're kind of the same person. I'm sorry. I did get that mixed up. I did. I'm sorry. Yeah, they kind of they kind of play the same interchangeable characters in movies, do they not? Like, if you can't have John Bernthal, hire Frank Grillo. If you can't have Frank Grillo, hire John Bernthal. Like, you can just interchange them, man. Same people. Okay. You're right, I did get that mixed up. But the thing is, Frank Grillo played sort of like the Punisher character in that Purge movie. So, like, my brain goes to him being the Punisher. It's John Birthcanal. Yes, that's his name. Let's just keep going. Okay. It's getting late. When it gets late, mistakes happen. How do you think we all got here? Let's keep going. Middle Punk 125. How's it going, Middle Punk? He says, "Hi, John. I'm pretty much out of Gunn's DC. I find his writing awful and his humor beyond juvenile. Have you seen the clip where Cornsweat is arguing with him over the climax speech? If your lead actor is confused, your script probably needs revision." I completely agree with you, Middle Punk 125, or can I just call you Middle Punk? I think James Gunn's DCU is a failure before it gets... Watching just the newest Superman movie, which felt like a made-for-TV Superman movie, in my opinion, I thought it was blah. I thought it was okay at best. But the thing about it is, it didn't get me excited to see more of that. This just feels like a lamer version, and I would say a B-rate version of what he already did with Guardians of the Galaxy. If anything, like, that was a good tone of, like, bombastic comic book movie with, like, some comedy, but it was balanced. And now it feels like we're just getting like this zany comedy movie with the comic book aspect feeling like it's second rate. And I'm not excited. Like, this doesn't feel epic, and this doesn't feel like this immersive universe where we're going to have complex characters that are going to be fantastical and a little bit more comic book accurate. It feels like we're just getting like dumb humor made for children. And I get that sounds a little bit harsh, because at the end of the day, these movies are made for younger audiences, but I just wish they were treated with a little bit of like nuance and craftsmanship, and not just surface level content made for TikTok kids. I just want good movies. That's all I'm saying. And in 25 years, no one's going to talk about the newest Superman movie. They're not. They're just not going to do it. You know? And I don't know about you, but when I'm in the mood for a Superman movie, I go watch Man of Steel. I'm not going to watch the new James Gunn Superman. I'm just not going to. You know, maybe if it's on Netflix and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning and I can't fall asleep, and I'm just gonna. I probably won't even watch it then. I'd probably just put on the like Pulp Fiction and watch the pawn shop basement scene again. I think that's more riveting. Does anyone like the James Gunn DCU right now? Let me know. Well, let's see. Spider-Man is dumb humor, and everyone likes those movies. Well, which one? Superman of Tomorrow is still on the way, 2027. I know it is. We'll give him one more shot, but man, I just don't want to see I don't want to see the new Batman movies treated this way. Like all saturated with dumb humor. I'm hoping they don't keep that same like tone and style. I don't like the way it looks. It looks cheap. Yeah, it was a live action cartoon. It definitely was. Okay, the next question comes from D Zinker 4642. Okay, D Zinker, here it goes. Will you do a top 10 of 2025? Also, have you seen 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple? If so, thoughts? Yeah, man, I got a whole live stream talking about it. I got a whole dedicated movie review over on the Flickpick channel talking about it. So if you want my thoughts on it, man, just go check those videos out. I talked all about the movie. I liked Bone Temple quite a bit. I think I liked it more than its predecessor, 28 Years Later. The Bone Temple was just a lot of fun. I quite enjoyed it. I thought the characters were just all the weird kookiness that the first movie was setting up. I think the payoff in Bone Temple got it right. Like, it just went for it. It didn't pull any punches. And like the big tall, the alpha with the 14-inch man dong, like that was a fun character in Bone Temple. And then you had Sir Jimmy, great character. So like the Teletubby kids made more sense this time around, and I enjoyed it. So yeah, thanks for the question, man. And am I going to do a top 10 of 2025? Well, seeing how we're already in April, I think the time has come and I think the time has gone. But the truth be told, I could probably give you like a top 3 of 2025. I don't know if I had 10 movies that I would put in a top 10 and truly mean it, and it would be genuine. It would be a blatant lie of hollowness and nothingness. Like after number 4, I'd be like, okay, well, this movie came out and I guess it's in my top 10 because I didn't hate it. But it's not a true top 10. You got to love all 10 movies. And I just didn't really love 10 movies from last year. Hey, John, do you like Tom Cruise as an action star? I like him more as an action star than a Scientologist, I suppose. Tom Cruise is the last big blockbuster star that we have. And we have to appreciate it. Is he slightly insane? Maybe. But that's what I like about him. And I like that the guy does his own stunts. I respect that. So yeah, Tom Cruise, I like me some Tom Cruise as an action star. Absolutely. He's like the last big remaining action star that we have that's still active. What does Jeremy Johns smell like? Like the leather jacket he wears all the time. You know, I guess that's what I remember most about him. F1 and Predator Badlands. I liked me some F1. I liked me some Predator Badlands. But the truth is, I'm probably not going to go back and rewatch Predator Badlands that many times. F1 I could watch on a rainy day. Good rainy day movie. What does John smell like? I don't, to be honest with you, I'm not quite, usually laundry detergent. Usually laundry detergent, I would say. I don't use cologne. I use deodorant, but that's it. I think I'm at a point in my life where I just don't care about what I smell like anymore. And that's when you know you're truly free. Okay? When I leave this room, though, I smell like party poppers. I smell like cheap Chinese party poppers and gunpowder. That's what I smell like when I leave this room. And that's a great smell. If you could bottle that up and smell it, well, you'd have $1 million. You know what I want to do? I want to make party popper cologne. I'm going to take these party poppers and I'm going to charge $120 for a bottle of it. And the way you apply it is you just shoot it at yourself like this. And then now you smell like a party popper. You smell like sulfur and gunpowder, man. And there's nothing more manly than that. The only thing is you got to take the streamers off. Or you can leave them on. You know? Would you rather watch Supergirl or a sequel to Atomic Blonde? I never watched Atomic Blonde, so I'd probably rather... To be honest with you, I like... what is her name? Millie Alcock or whatever. I'd watch Supergirl. I think Jason Momoa being in the movie as Lobo looks interesting. It looks like a fine movie to watch. You know, it looks like an okay movie to go look at. Do I think it's going to be like the next big epic superhero movie? No. Do I think it's going to maybe underperform at the box office? Yeah. John, what is your workout routine? My workout routine usually consists of not working out throughout the week and then maybe going on Saturday. That's what my routine consists of. But once I'm at the gym, what I like to do is I chug an energy drink. I do some stretches. I usually always start with dumbbells. I do a lot of shoulder flies, some shoulder presses, some biceps, some forearms. I do a lot of different various movements with the dumbbells. I can do like 27 workouts with dumbbells. And then I go up in weights with the dumbbells. And then I go over to the cable machines and I do some like lat pull downs, tricep pull downs, stuff like that. And then I do some chest. And then I take one of the 45-pound plates and I do some different exercises with that, like some shrugs, some curls. I put it over my head and do some triceps. I do some like abdomen workouts with the 45-pound plates. That's like what I consider my lazy workout. I can get like 25 different lifts in with just doing what I said. And then by that time, 30 minutes goes by and I leave the gym. So that's kind of what my basic routine consists of. If I'm just going through the motions. I get enough forearm training at home by myself. I don't know what you mean by that. Thomas McCollin, 8391 says, "Hey mate, do you think Obafemi runs the risk of peaking too early by defeating Brock Lesnar in his first WrestleMania?" I think he should defeat Brock Lesnar in his first WrestleMania, thus making him the big new beast of the WWE, and he will have a successful career for the next decade because of it. So I think he should win this one. It solidifies him as like the big badass of WWE, and then he can lose a little bit down the road, and then, I think that'll make it far more interesting. I think he needs this. And if he doesn't win, they're just wasting their time with Obafemi right now. Okay, let's go to the next one. And the next one comes from Middle Punk 125 back again says, second part to my earlier question. Do you think James Gunn's DC survives Warner Brothers' sale and the likely Supergirl flop? What would you do moving forward to get DC back on track? I'd like a complete reset. P.S. Your live streams got me through a rough divorce. Keep it up, man. Well, man, I'm sorry to hear about that, but I hope you're doing much better now and you're out there exploring other possibilities. So thank you for telling me about that. That does mean a lot, man. I get it. I've been in some very dark places throughout the years, and I've taken, I've confided in many of other content creators and podcasts to get me through those dark times. So it does mean a lot saying that I helped you. So that does mean a lot, man. Thank you so much. And I do hope you're doing better, genuinely. But that's the thing about life. It keeps going. You either get busy living or get busy dying. So let's get busy answering your question. What would I do? I guess I would have started off a little bit stronger than James Gunn did. It feels like he's sort of throwing a softball pitch with the new Superman movie. And I just don't want all these movies to feel so babyfied. Give me a little grit. You can make them comic book accurate, but stop pulling every single punch. And going forward, these movies need their own individual style. If everything just looks like a generic comic book movie shot in front of a green screen with too much color saturation, I don't want that. I want you to hire real filmmakers to make real movies that all feel slightly different. But also, I think we need to stop making these all feel like PG movies. Because unless you make something that's going to stand the test of time, you're just wasting your time. So this wasn't what I envisioned when they first announced this years ago. And I don't know why they can't get it right. It's just for some odd reason they can't do it. But really, when it comes down to it, I'm at a point where I just don't know if I care about crossover movies and the bigger universe of having 47 different characters all meet up and fight a big bad guy. It's like we've been there with the MCU. We've done it. I just, in my own selfish way, I just want some quality Batman movies. I want some fantastical, comic book accurate Batman movies. Now, don't get me wrong. I like the Robert Pattinson movie, and if that ever comes out in the next 25 years, I'll probably enjoy it quite a bit. But if they're going to have like the James Gunn Batman movies where they can be more fantastical, I just want them done right. And if that Superman movie is any indication of what those movies are going to be like, that is not what I want. So I don't know, man. Just reboot it again. I think they're wasting their time going forward with what they have. Or maybe people just aren't, like, outside of Batman, like, I don't know. Like, everyone claims to be a big fan of The Flash or Green Lantern, but I don't know if those movies will do well at the box office. For whatever reason, it almost feels like no matter how good of a Flash movie you make, it just doesn't feel like it'll ever make that much at the box office. I could be wrong, or maybe they're just making bad movies. Dustin Rich says, John, you've already helped me avoid marriage. Thank you. Well, I'm glad I could help you. You don't have to, hey, listen, you don't have to abide by the constructs of life, okay? You can go your own route. Gunn's trying to please comic fans and not modern audiences. Gunn's trying to please comic fans. Is he though? Kind of, sort of. He's kind of picking the worst versions of comic book characters and telling those stories. Like, I don't want to see Superman fight big giant kaijus every Tuesday like it's nothing. Everyone said Man of Steel was too dark. Now they made Superman more lighthearted and people still hate it. Well, that's because people don't know what they want and you have to tell them. But let's back up. Let's back way up. I genuinely think they got it mixed up. Like, had James Gunn's Superman movie come out in 2013 when Man of Steel did, I think it would have been more successful. And had Man of Steel come out when James Gunn's Superman movie did, I think it would have been more successful. I just don't think people at the time those movies came out necessarily wanted the tone of the movie that they got. I think if you could flip them around, they would be more successful. Is anyone else picking up on what I'm putting down? Like, Man of Steel was ahead of its time, and the new Superman movie is like behind the times. But then again, most movies are just regurgitated baby food put into a blender for easy mass consumption, and that's sort of what comic book movies are becoming. But also, Middle Punk, do I think James Gunn's DC survives the Warner Brothers sale? Well, you know, did Netflix buy it or did Paramount buy it? I don't remember who bought Warner Brothers. Paramount. Okay, Paramount bought it. If I was Paramount, I would just reboot it. I would reboot it. I don't think what James Gunn has... We have been talking about this way too long, so let's just wrap this up. I don't think what James Gunn has done with the current DC universe is all that iconic or great, and I think it's safe. I think they could safely kind of go a different direction with it before they go down the path that is not the right path. Like, you had a Superman movie. Superman can be light and fluffy. Fine. Switch it up. Go a different direction before it's too late. Yeah, Paramount bought it. Yes. Okay, let's keep going here. Skylar Wheelock says, how much of Mortal Kombat 1995 is inspired by Enter the Dragon? It's an homage or just straight up copy? Well, there is a tournament of sorts and different layers and different people you have to fight. So, I mean, Yeah, I could see some similarities there. I think it's different enough. I mean, I don't think Enter the Dragon had techno music and people shooting... Did it have people shooting fireballs? I don't think it did. But it definitely didn't have a guy with 4 arms named Prince Goro. Okay. Don't even get me started on Sonya Blade. I had a poster of Sonya Blade in my room as a young boy. I kept it in my pillowcase. Okay, Giacinta 6323 says, tomorrow at Easter dinner, if I notice my niece and nephews not eating their food, should I say to them, don't just look at it, eat it? Hugs and kisses, John. Absolutely you should. And you should take that marshmallow Easter bunny that's utterly disgusting and rip its head off and throw it at the wall and see if it sticks. By the way, a quick fun fact. I was actually born on Easter in 1987. Yes, and Easter fell on my birthday in 1987. I was born on Easter. Though it's technically not my birthday this Easter, I just think that's something I wanted all of you to know. So thank you. Okay, let's keep going. The next one comes from Jonas Weather, who says Gerard Butler is in his baked potato phase. Is he looking a little plump lately? He looked okay to me in whatever this was called. Yeah, Greenland 2. I mean, maybe he's getting a little plump. Not as plump as Russell Crowe got, that's for sure. I love me some Gerard Butler, but that man cannot do an American accent to save his life. It always sounds like he's gurgling water when he does it. Well, I don't know. Like, he just sounds like he's trying so hard not to do his Scottish accent. I think dialect coaches, they tell actors from other countries, if you want to do an American accent, you basically just have to like relax your throat. Like, don't try so hard to announce words. And I feel like Gerard Butler really goes a little too far with that. Name a classic Gerard Butler movie. Really 300. I think that's it, right? It's 300. It's not Bounty Hunter or whatever that was called with what's her face? John, do you like Hangover, Superbad, and Step Brother comedies? That's a great question. I think The Hangover is the most overrated movie ever made. Or at least one of them. It's okay, but really try to go back and watch it again. It's not that funny. Superbad, I think, is phenomenal. Superbad, in my opinion, is probably the best comedy of the last 20 years. It can offend people, which I enjoy. It's a great story. The characters are iconic. It's funny, and it's rewatchable. I love me some Superbad. I remember watching that in theaters. I got to eat lunch alone like Steven fucking Glansberg. I love it. And McLovin, man. Iconic. Perfection. Step Brothers. I was never a huge Step Brothers fan. I know. It's crazy. I was never that huge of a Step Brothers fan. Why aren't we talking about Hancock? I don't know, because it's a shitty movie. Does anyone remember Gamer from 2009? Oh, I remember Gamer from 2009, yeah. I don't want to, but I do. The Fifth Element is the most overrated movie. Whoa! Introducing Corbin Dallas! That's my Chris Tucker impression, but let's talk about The Fifth Element. They came out in 1990... I want to say 5, though I feel like it's 7. Fifth Element came out in 1997, right? I'm going to go with that. Let's see. 1997, okay. It's definitely a weird, kooky movie. It's bizarre to say the least. And I remember watching it over and over because they played it all the time on HBO in the late 1990s. And I watched that movie so many times. Mila Jovovich was fun to look at in that movie. But anyway, I think it's interesting. I kind of like the futuristic vibe of it all. At the core of the movie, it's not very good, but you have Gary Oldman in it. And there was something about those 1990s action futuristic movies that just had this weird, bizarre vibe to them. Just like the visuals of the movie, just like what they did in those movies is they would just like have the weirdest outfits and like plastic pieces that they just glue to people's heads. And they're like, this is what people are going to wear in the future. Put this plastic dish around his head. It just made no sense whatsoever, but it was something that the 90s did so well. Like Demolition Man, which was set in the future, had the same kind of like stylistic vibe to it. And looking back on it, I appreciate it so much. I kind of want to see let's see if you can, okay, like right here's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying. Look at that. You know? The opera singer chick from Fifth Element, that was pretty cool. Her right there. The blue lady. Yeah, like look, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Look at Gary Oldman right there. He's got like a plastic thing just taped to his head. What? Why? Who's wearing that? Anyway, definitely an interesting movie to say the least. All right, let's keep going here. And the next one comes from... Here it is. Okay. Mason Arnold says, did you happen to see The Bride? I'm ashamed to say I really liked it, though it's not great by any means. I have not seen The Bride, and I will take the time to say this. The Bride is probably one of those movies, and by one of those movies, do you ever go to the theater and you see a trailer for a movie and you safely tell yourself that I am probably never, ever going to watch this movie. There's nothing about this movie that looks appealing, entertaining, or worth my time to ever sit down and watch it. This is literally the opposite of anything I've ever wanted to see. And every time I go to the movie theater and I watch this trailer, I just wish I had a pee so I could get up from my seat and avoid looking at it. Now, with all that said, all film is subjective, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. Maybe you enjoyed Christian Bale's weird performance as Frankenstein, or I don't know what the fuck did you like about it? Tell me what you liked about it. I have not seen it. I probably never will. But thank you for the question, man. And it's okay. We all have our guilty pleasures. Maybe The Bride is sort of like your Van Helsing, right? It's a piece of shit. It's kind of bad, but you sort of enjoy it for some odd reason. So with all that said, thank you for the question, Mason. Thank you so much. And here's a party popper just for you. These party poppers, man, they got some oomph to them. I feel like they're extra loaded or something. John, would you make an appearance in the channel Double Toasted? Just saw you in one of their videos years ago reacting to your Stardust app reaction. I forgot about Stardust. That was kind of a cool app. It was a little bit ahead of its time. It was actually like the first TikTok for just movies. It could have been great. I worked with them for like 2 years doing sponsorship deals. And I liked it. I actually liked the Stardust app quite a bit. Imagine just like having a TikTok, but for just movies. It was a cool app. Anyway, maybe the name wasn't very good though. Stardust. Yeah. I guess, sure, you know. I'd be on their channel. John, you should visit the Superbad liquor store. I'm sure it's in like Los Angeles somewhere. I walked out of The Bride, never watch it, and I never will. Stardust was way better than Letterboxd. I agree with you, man. The thing about Letterboxd is if you could just like shoot your reactions for movies, I think that would be immensely more entertaining. Like, I don't want to, I'm sorry, I just don't want to read people's thoughts or look at their star ratings. But if people were leaving like little 30-second reviews or 1-minute reviews for movies on there, I think that would be really cool. Maybe that's a feature or something. I doubt it, though. Project Hail Mary gives me hope for the future of movies. No, absolutely. If anything, Project Hail Mary reminded me of like those early 2000s, 90s blockbuster movies that were worth going to see at the theater. Like the buddy team up, it's heartfelt, it's adventurous, it's well made, it's well crafted. It doesn't feel like everyone's just standing in front of a green screen. There's a little bit of heart to it, but also a blockbuster vibe. That's what movies should be. Like, that's a great family movie to like leave the house and go watch. And I really do mean this when I say, I think in like 20 years, people will like still talk about Project Hail Mary when they talk about like a sci-fi space movie. Because there's only like so many great movies that are in that genre that have rewatchability. And I think it'll definitely be up there. Do you know Waldo from Waldo is in a single frame of Apocalypto? I did not know that. Can you elaborate? I don't know if I believe you, but I want to. I hope he was. Right when they were ripping the heart out during the sacrifice scenes atop the pyramids, down in the crowd you see Waldo just waving. Okay, the next one comes from Daniel Green, 61. How's it going, Daniel? Who says, John, if you liked The Other Side, who would you like? What? John, if you liked The Other Side, who would you like? Now go into glorious detail of the things you would do or have done to you. Now let's back up here. What do you mean the other side? What do you mean by that? I don't know what you mean by that. The other side. You mean like if I liked dudes or something? I don't know. I'd probably just give me Christian Bale in a crotchless Batman suit, and I'm dressed like the Penguin. You want to show me your French flipper trick? I don't know, man. Was that a good enough answer for you? I think that's the best answer I'm going to be able to give you on that. But I genuinely do mean it. And if I need and I hope Morgan Freeman was over there watching, because I want an audience for that. Nah, Mr. Wayne. As long as this device is here, I won't be. Consider this my resignation. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from Avocado Balls Johnson. Okay. Avocado Balls Johnson says, the best German film is, of course, Downfall. Downfall? Wait. I don't think I've seen this. Downfall is the 1942 Lancer. What is this movie? 3 years later, Hitler's empire is now underground bunker, real life. Okay, it's like a Holocaust movie? Interesting, okay. Have I seen this? I don't know if I've seen... It's from 2004. Here's what I'm talking about. Do you guys want to talk about Holocaust movies for the next hour? I know I do. Okay, yeah, that sounds cool. It's got an 8.4. I love it. I don't think I've seen it. I've never seen this movie. So, thank you for letting me know about it. Das Boot, yes, good movie. I wish James Cameron made that Spider-Man movie. Dude, every time I read about that mid-1990s Spider-Man movie that should have come out in like 1994 or something, 1995, Instead of making True Lies, James Cameron was going to make a Spider-Man movie starring Leonardo DiCaprio with Arnold Schwarzenegger playing Doc Ock. Now imagine what James Cameron could do with a Spider-Man movie. Like, just I mean this when I say it, close your eyes and envision the guy who made True Lies, The Terminator, Titanic, in the course of 6 years. And right in between all those glorious magical things, you would have got a Spider-Man movie. Oh, I truly think that would have jump-started the comic book genre. And I think rather than get like shitty comic book movies in the mid to late 90s, like, yeah, Blade was good and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, like, Judge Dredd's and the other mediocre mid-90s comic book movies, I think if we would have got a good one from James Cameron, it would have upped the ante and raised the bar, and I think we would have jump-started that way sooner. I genuinely do. So anyway, yeah, that would have been awesome. No, Spider-Man was going to come out after Titanic, John. Was it? I thought he was going to do it around the time he was doing True Lies. Okay, well, maybe it was. Okay, whatever. It was going to come out in 1998. So be it. But either way, it would have been awesome. Favorite soundtrack from the Star Wars prequels? Oh, Duel of the Fates, dude. All day. What's your MBTI personality type? I know what you're talking about. I know I'm the challenger, and I'm like an introverted, extroverted guy or something. So if you guys don't know, there's all these different personality types. And let me find it here. I'll show you. It's really interesting, and it's very true because there's only so many personality types that exist, and everyone that you know will fit into one of these. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. I get really into stuff like this. I think it's really fascinating. And this is one of those things that like solidify the fact that I think we live in the Matrix, because I think we're all programmed a certain way no matter what. And there's only like, this is all the different programs that exist. You're one of these things. I think I'm an INTP, I think I'm an ENTP actually. Yeah. Inventive, enthusiastic, strategic, enterprising, inquisitive, versatile, enjoy new ideas and challenges, value inspiration. Yeah, I think I'm kind of like a mix of the top ones here. And some of these are just terrible personality types, like judgy ones. Like, I've met many of these personality types. But anyway, I think I'm the ENTP mixed with the INTP a little bit. I'm a really good extrovert, but I'm truly an introvert who can pretend to be a really good extrovert. That's who I am as a person. I'm also a dude not wearing any pants right now, talking about personality types at 12:30 in the morning. That's who I am as a person. But then after this, I'm going to go lay in bed like I'm an old man with my sciatica flaring up, listening to an audiobook as I cry myself to sleep. That's who I really am. But anyway, thank you for that question. Yeah, so I would say I'm one of the top ones there. Probably the ENTP a little bit. I don't know. Which one would you categorize me as? Let me know down below. Let me know which personality type you guys are based on that. John would make a great Terminator. Now, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? You can't just say shit like that without elaborating on what you mean by it. Are you saying if I was a cybernetic organism with real human tissue underneath, but I was a killing machine, I would make a good Terminator? Is that what you're saying to me? I'll take it as a compliment. I will. I will kill your entire family to preserve the future of the robotic race. I'm an INTJ. Aren't you? Doesn't that mean you're judgy or something? You don't seem like an ENTP. Why not? Okay. Andrew says, John, I can relate to you on the sciatica. It's a bitch. Stabbing pain, no way to sit comfortably, flares up in the evening, hurts when you initially stand up in the morning. Oh yeah, I stand up like an old man sometimes. Like I feel like I feel like I'm having a hernia and my lower back just spasms and I just want to lay down and cry. But once I start getting moving, I feel okay. We talked about the Mario Galaxy movie quite a bit in the beginning of the stream, so if you want to scroll back, we talk about it extensively. Okay, let's keep going here. I'm a little bit behind on the questions. I will continue. Mr. Mind Trick says, have you ever seen Galagula? Am I saying that right? Caligula? Caligula. What is this? Excessive violence, corruption marked the notorious emperor's reign in the 1st century Rome. That sounds kind of cool. What is this, though? It came out in 1979. Oh, you know what's funny about this? I just saw an image of... Okay, I saw something about this on TikTok just today, man. That's so weird. You said yes. What is happening? Are you in my algorithm? Let me know what's happening right now. I swear the algorithm, it's not just TikTok. I'm telling you, we are all connected to it in the Matrix. We all start thinking the same thing. We're programmed. Dude, I literally, for the first time in my life, I'm not lying to you, today, that is bizarre that you said this. I saw a clip of this on TikTok, and what was happening was this emperor, he was torturing all these people, and it looked like there was a giant, like, spinning crab leg cutting people's heads off or something in the sand. Yeah, this guy right here, clearly on the spectrum is all I'm saying. But anyway... Yeah. Look at him just laying there, man. Oh, looks so relaxing. Anyway, that's weird. Yeah, we're just in the Matrix. I'm telling you, man. You gonna play GTA 6? I'm gonna play GTA 6 if it ever comes out. And I genuinely don't think it will ever come out. I'm telling you, the Earth will implode before we get this game. Just putting it out there. The Artemis mission to the moon, that's because aliens are coming. We're not getting GTA 6. We're getting aliens first. We're all gonna be alien slaves very soon. Let's just keep talking about the next question. The next one comes from Butch Scissorlegs, once again, who says, what would make a better movie between Kevin Federline's presence in the WWE in 06 or a movie with an actor playing M. Night Shyamalan between 1999 to 2015? I'm probably going to go with the M. Night Shyamalan movie. I actually think that would be interesting. Imagine having a movie about this guy who's made all these, like, he's made some great movies, like Signs, The Sixth Sense, but he's also made some, like, abominations against cinema, like The Happening. I think a story about a director who makes these movies and the logic that went into them, I think that would truly be fascinating. So thank you for the question. So I'm going to go with the M. Night Shyamalan movie. And hey, I'm just going to put it out there. I think, I forgot what it was called. Uh-oh. Oh my God. What is this M. Night Shyamalan movie called? M. Night. The Village. Oh my God. Okay. Ugh. Okay, The Village. I like The Village. I don't care what anyone says. I liked it. I liked the twist ending to The Village quite a bit. I thought it was good. But my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie is probably going to be Split. I think Split's the most rewatchable M. Night Shyamalan movie. I know the cool thing to do is say like Unbreakable, but I think I enjoy Split more. My name's Hedwig and I want a hot dog. That's why. Who got worse over the years? M. Night Shyamalan or Michael Bay? That's a good question. That's a really good question. I'm going to say Michael Bay because at least M. Night gave us movies like Split. But what's the last great thing Michael Bay has given us? Besides an aneurysm when we're watching Transformers Part 9. Nothing. Okay, the next one comes from Just Cash Out, who says, "Hey John, thoughts on the movie Rear Window 1954 from Alfred Hitchcock?" I've seen it once. I liked it. You know, I thought the concept of like watching your neighbors with dubious things happening was interesting, and they based the movie, speaking of Transformers, Sam Witwicky, Shia LaBeouf, who's utterly insane now, the movie Disturbia on such things. So I liked it. I've seen it once though, but I do remember watching it and the way they shot Rear Window with how they shot it all in the studio where they had like tons of artificial lighting, but they built an entire set where it looks like an apartment complex. I watched a documentary about that a long time ago and I thought that was fascinating. But anyway, yeah, it was good. You know, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I liked it. And speaking of that, there's tons of Alfred Hitchcock movies I should probably go back and watch or revisit. There's a lot of them I haven't seen, but like Vertigo, I've never watched Vertigo, so though I think I do have vertigo. Dan DeMan says, "John, thoughts on Back to the Future 9/11 theories?" Well, you got to tell me what these theories are. What are you talking about? Back to the Future 9/11 theories. Let's look it up. You know what I want to do tonight? Let's look at 9/11 theories. Okay, what does this say? It says, conspiracy theories suggest Back to the Future predicted 9/11 attacks, largely driven by Okay, this is too much. Finding patterns of random data. Key evidence includes the Twin Pines Mall sign changing to Lone Pine, visual references to twins towers, and the clock reading 1:16 seen as 9/11 upside down. Common Back to the Future 9/11 theories. Well, also, didn't The Simpsons predict that and like 27 other things that happened, like Donald Trump becoming president? So yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it? It's like, is that just a coincidence or is there something to be said there? Or maybe the unbeknownst themselves somehow predicted these things. Or maybe, just maybe, if you look hard enough and you seek out different patterns, you will find ones that correlate to what you're looking for if you look hard enough. It could be a multitude of things, but I like to think Hollywood knew what was happening a decade before it did. And yes, those are all accurate things. So I love a good conspiracy theory. So I don't know. But then again, you'd think a movie that could predict the future 15 years ahead of time probably would have predicted Eric Stoltz shouldn't be cast as Marty McFly. Thus, why did they cast him and shoot with him for a month and then fire him and hire Michael J. Fox? So I'm just, maybe it's just a coincidence. Roger something says, the first Mario movie has Twin Towers destroyed in Dino World. It does. It does. He shoots it with his like laser gun thing, right? I remember this. Okay, we have to look at this. Watch.
Those guys will do anything for publicity.
I mean, Whew. You're not going to see that in the new Mario Bros. Galaxy movie, are you? Why are we talking about this right now? Can we not talk about 9/11 tonight? It's Easter, everyone. It's Easter. John, you would like to make a cameo in Scary Movie 6 or no? Yeah, sure. I'll make a cameo in Scary Movie 6. Do you know somebody who knows somebody? Put me in the movie. I'm up for it. Roger something says the first Mario movie has, we just talked about that. Thomas McClowan says Sydney Sweeney is attached to play a Hollywood icon, Kim Novak, who was in Vertigo in the upcoming biopic Scandalous. Ooh, that's interesting. I did not know that. I like me some Sydney Sweeney. That sounds like a good time. Butch Scissorleg says, what did you think of Kevin Federline being famous and being used as a promotion weapon in 2006? Kevin Federline got lucky, man. Talk about a dude, like, just all that child support money. He doesn't have to do anything. Oh. Okay, here it goes. Let's go to the next one here. I got to catch up on some of these questions here, man. You got me all sidetracked talking about 9/11. Panic Nation 3802 says, ever seen Small Soldiers, Toy Story X Gremlins? Yeah, of course I've seen Dude, I grew up in the 90s. So in 1998, when Small Soldiers came out, that was like I was so pumped to see that movie. I remember watching the trailers for it, and it was okay. It was an okay movie. I don't think it was great. And there were talks about making a sequel to that forever. Gorgonite scum. We are the Gorgonites. It was okay. I remember when they came out with the actual toys from Small Soldiers, and I was like, who wants to buy the Gorgonites? They look lame. I want the G.I. Joe guys that had like flamethrowers and shit. Butch Scissorlegs back again says, my professor had me watch the 2008 movie Speed Racer for an assignment. Have you seen it? Quick review. I can enjoy it as a guilty pleasure. I never liked it. And it's probably one of those movies I should probably go back and like check out again. I will say this. I was in a pawn shop like months ago and I found this French version of Speed Racer on Blu-ray, brand new. And I saw that it was like super rare and out of print, so I bought it for $2. I think it's in like a box in my closet or something. But anyway, I was really never into the movie. But with all that said, it has Emil Hirsch in it, and it is directed by the Wachowskis. Maybe I should go back and revisit it. I just always thought it was kind of like, I was never that into Speed Racer to begin with. And I always thought the movie looked visually kind of cool, but I didn't think it was that good of a movie. But maybe I'm wrong. I have not even looked at it since it originally came out to theaters. But I could completely understand that being a guilty pleasure. Deflexta. Speed Racer sucks. The Wachowskis got body swapped after 1999. Well, the Matrix took over. And by the way, thanks for the question, Butch Scissorlegs. There's a party popper, which is probably better than Speed Racer. Okay, the next one comes from Night King 01. How's it going again, Night King 01? John, I recently got into model building with World War II models. I'm almost 25, but I feel like this is doing something one starts doing in their midlife crisis. Also, every time I buy a set, I spend almost $200, but then I feel better about gluing them. Well, hey man, we all have our hobbies. We all have our things. I went through a midlife crisis just a year ago and I started buying all these tools for my garage. I was buying tools I knew for a fact I would never need, but I bought it just in case. Okay? Do I need an angle grinder? Probably not, but I have one. Do I need a multi-tool? Maybe. But do I need 3 of them? Absolutely not. Do I have 3 of them? Yes. Do I have 2 of everything? Yes, I do. Why? Just in case one breaks and I need it. I mean, you never know when you're drilling something and your drill just suddenly stops and you got to drill that hole. You need a backup plan. What else am I going to do? So I completely understand it, man. But that's cool. You're spending $200 on what kind of models are you buying? I thought model sets cost like $50 or something. That's cool. Let me tell you a story. Back in 1998, and this is the only model I ever bought. I bought a model of the Titanic. It was about this big, and I built it. And I still remember using the model glue and getting super, super high off of it because I didn't know any better. And I was a stupid kid and I was terrible at building this model and I was too lazy to read the instructions because I thought they were so confusing. So I would get my fingers covered in this model glue every time and I'd sniff it because I kind of liked the smell of it, but I was getting high. So I really enjoyed building this Titanic model, but it turned out pretty shitty because I was under the influence as I was building it. Anyway, once I built the Titanic model, I realized I then had to paint it. And painting a model is significantly harder than building it. And it looked like complete dog shit. So anyway, that's my story. And that's the last model I ever attempted to build. And it's the last model I will ever build. So anyway, let's keep going. But man, I'm glad you got to... Listen, I respect hobbies like that. So keep going, man. Jay Thisky, too, says... Do you think that Bruce Banner could be the one who created the spider that bit Peter and that's their connection in Brand New Day? I don't know. That kind of would make Bruce Banner look like a bad guy. Like it's like, oh, you're so incompetent. You made this radioactive spider that can bite children and ruin their lives. I don't know if that would work. I don't know. Maybe. I thought my theory was the reason that you're seeing Bruce Banner in Brand New Day is since everyone forgot who Spider-Man was. I felt like the one person who didn't forget who he was the Hulk. So I thought there was going to be like some kind of connection there where he hulks out and then he remembers who Spider-Man is or something. I don't know. I thought that would be how they connect some dots. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. No, Hulk killed his parents. Yeah, we still don't know how his parents died, right? So maybe Hulk did kill them. Maybe you know what would be great? When did Peter Parker's parents die for Tom Holland's version of Peter Parker? Because if they died during the events of like the first Avengers invasion, and then the Hulk accidentally, like when he was climbing one of the buildings, and the way the Hulk climbs a building is he punches holes through the side of it. Maybe he punched a hole through the side of the Parker's apartment building and just smashed his parents to death and kept going up. That'd be a cool way to die. So yeah, I could be okay with that. Let's just keep going. But thank you for the question. Someone elaborate on that though. Let me know. The next one comes from Craig Thompson, 4834, who says, thoughts on Spawn and Swamp Thing movies. Well, the Spawn movie that came out, or I will say was crapped out in 1995. I remember seeing that movie in theaters. Me and my stepdad went to go see it. It's weird. That's my weird thing. I can remember seeing every single movie in the theater. That's how I separate different time points in my life. I can't remember anyone's birthday, but I can remember seeing a certain movie in 1995 in the theater and what I got to eat as a snack that day. But anyway, I remember seeing Spawn in theaters back in 95, and I thought it was kind of cool. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought Spawn looked cool. I liked John Leguizamo as the clown. I thought the clown, and let's look at this. Clown. Now, the movie sucked. Let's be honest with ourselves. Spawn sucked because it ran out of money. The Regulator. Yeah, like I liked that aspect of it. I thought he looked really good as the clown. And, but outside of that, the movie sort of ran out of money. And by ran out of money, let's look at the ending scene here. Spawn hell scene. It just looked like they shot this in someone's garage on a green screen. I could literally make a better effect right now in 7 minutes with the abilities that I have. But let's look at this. But anyway, that's Spawn. Those are my thoughts on it. Swamp Thing movie. I remember seeing the Swamp Thing movie, but I don't remember much about it, man. And I never watched the TV series. So I remember kind of liking it as a kid. I just don't remember it. Yeah, Spawn came out in 97. You're right. Sorry. I'm so sorry. It did come out in 97. You're right. For some reason, 97 and 95, something about the CGI of both of those years just look interchangeable to me. Like, it looks like, okay, so like, look here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So look at the CGI right here of this. Look at that junk, okay? Now, let's look at this. Mortal Kombat. And that, let's look. Where is it? Come on. And then you look at CGI like this. Well, that was a bad example, but you get what I'm saying. It kind of looks the same. And let's just stop looking at Spawn. Let's just stop looking at, let me get this party streamer off here too. All right. Thoughts on CGI of Mortal Kombat 92? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Do you mean the 97 Mortal Kombat, or? Crazy to think Jurassic Park came out a few years before these movies. Yeah, but that had money and talent. These movies had very little of that. Plus, once again, the mid-90s, man, they were just crapping out comic book movies. Like, we had to take what we could get in the 90s. This was top tier. Butch Scissorlegs says, who in Hollywood could be the next Tom Cruise? I don't know if you can replicate or duplicate Tom Cruise. I really don't know if you can. Who could be the next Tom Cruise? I mean, who's even doing their own stunts anymore? Why does my hair look crazy? I don't know. Who could be the next Tom Cruise? That's a great question. I don't know. Ryan Gosling, but that's not a good example, so I couldn't tell you. You can't duplicate Tom Cruise. You just can't. It'll never happen. Okay, the next one comes from Night King 01. Like, you can't duplicate Stallone. You can't duplicate Schwarzenegger. You can't duplicate any of these charismatic one-offs. Like, everyone now feels like generic guy number 2. Like, the closest thing we have to charisma in Hollywood right now is like Ryan Gosling and who do we have? Who do you guys deem a charismatic actor right now in Hollywood? Like, Hugh Jackman's a great actor, you know, but you could, John. We've all seen you as the movie star in Stuckman's movie, Johnny Fluxter. I definitely could do it, man. I just don't know if I could act my way out of a paper bag. Independence Day had some great CGI for its time. It was pretty good. I wouldn't say it was great. Let's look at Independence Day CGI. I gotta call my lawyer. I gotta call my mother. I'll forget my lawyer.
Imagine being able to build.
I love Independence Day. Also another movie I remember seeing in the theater in 1996. Let's just look at this Independence Day CGI real quick. Look at this. Oh my God. Now let's keep in mind right now, this actually is a practical effect for the most part. Like, that explosion, the way they shot that was they shot that a model that was vertical, and they had the explosion at the bottom of it rising up. I remember watching the behind the scenes of that on the Discovery Channel one day. Anyway, the dog, you gotta look at those visual effects right there. Look at that. I love it. All right, look at the jets. Look at those jets. I'm a pilot. I can fly. Good stuff, man. Just a fun movie, isn't it? Okay, let's go to the next one here. I have a lot of questions. I should probably talk faster. Night King 01 says, they need to get rid of whatever cinematographer is doing these DC movies. The movies look absolutely slop. Never have I seen a movie look like it was filmed by AI. This always seems to go one way. All other DC films fail, so they fell back on Batman. Yeah, man, I don't know what it is. Why did they get the guy who, like, the cinematographer who was behind the Flash movie that looked like over glossy, overproduced slop? And they're like, let's make all of our movies look like that. No one liked the way that movie looked. So why would you think all these other movies should look that way? Or is that just what you think like newer audiences want to see? These overly glossy AI looking feature length films? Is that how little they think of us? It just looks overlit. There's no shadows. I agree with you. It's disgusting. Avocado Balls Johnson back again says, Dawn of Justice had its 10th anniversary last week, a movie that spawned the most deranged fanboy cult in movie history. So glad it has now been regulated to the trash bag of history, save Martha. My mother's name's Martha, and that makes us friends now. It had a few good ideas, but a lot of wasted potential. And the fact that Jesse Eisenberg was in that movie was just another bad decision amongst many others. But there was some cool stuff in the movie, man, like the Batman warehouse scene. That was cool. Maybe a few other scenes, but it was really basically a big bloated pile of garbage for the most part, let's all be honest. Yeah, it was weird, man. People really, like, I'm one of those dudes who should have loved, like, I should have been one of those cultist fanboys of the movie. And if you go back and look at my YouTube videos leading up to Batman v Superman, you would think I would be. I was praising that movie more than anyone. And the more I was seeing of the movie and seeing of it, I was like, I don't know if this is going to be what we want it to be. And it wasn't. So it's weird. That was 10 years ago, wasn't it? 10 years ago. But I liked Ben Affleck as Batman. I just think it was wasted. Like that workout scene where he's like naked, showering, lifting weights. I liked all that stuff. But it should have been in its own movie. Tell me, do you bleed? Just say that to anyone. Just walk into a convenience store and ask that question. Skylar Wheelock says Jack O'Connell has been cast as Patrick Bateman and Luca. Oh, what? The Irish vampire from Sinners has been cast as Patrick Bateman? I think the guy can play a good psychopath, but is that true? That is not who I imagined. Huh. Yeah, I heard Robin Williams was supposed to be the Riddler in the third Keaton Batman movie. That would have been kind of cool. I know he wanted that role quite a bit. Jesse Eisenberg should have played the Riddler. Yeah, they basically made him the Riddler, but they called him Lex Luthor. So, yeah, not a good idea. All right, the next one comes from Joker Face 501, who says, John, By the way, some of these questions are from an hour ago. What have I been? You guys made me talk about 9/11, and I'm sorry. John, do you know the band Alter Bridge? They made Edge's theme song and former members of Creed. Also, John, what film franchise crossover you would want to see? I would like to see Blade and Celine Underworld. Okay, you're throwing a lot on me here. Let me dissect this question because I'm only understanding some of it. Alter Bridge, yes, I'm familiar with them. I do like Edge's theme song, so yes, and yes. So if I had to have I'm going to ask you guys this question. If you had to have a crossover between two franchises, what franchises would it be? I'm going to go with the Ninja Turtles and Batman. For some odd reason, I want to see them hang out and fight injustice. And I think there would be something so unique about the conversations of Batman talking to giant mutated turtles. But I really think they would play well off of each other. Just putting it out there. Could you imagine the Ninja Turtles hanging out in the Batcave? I think that would just be a good time. And Alfred like asking them what they eat and then serving them like cold soup or something. And then they're like, no, we like pizza. And, I think that would be fun. I'm sure that's happened in the comic books at some point, and I'm fairly certain it has. Or how about, like, I don't know, you want two completely different movies combined into one? I want to see Forrest Gump and The Terminator. That's what I want to see. And the thing about Forrest Gump is that Terminator's never going to catch him if he takes off running. Just putting it out there. Okay? So thank you for the question, Joker Face, and you get a party popper right to your face. Batman vs. TMNT is a sick animated movie, John. Watch it. Yeah, I thought that was a real thing. Anyway, I want it to happen in live action. It already exists. Well, not the version I want. Robert Pattinson... Skylar Wheelock says Robert Pattinson being in Dune 3, The Batman Part 2, and The Odyssey in the next 2 years is why he's going to be known as one of the greatest of all time. It's crazy. Who would have thought the dude from Twilight would be like a beloved actor in all these great iconic roles? I never thought it would happen. Here we are. And I like it. Dude, once I saw the movie Good Time, I was like, oh, Robert Pattinson's like a real actor. Okay. Back to the Future and Inception. That would be an interesting crossover. That would. Could you imagine like Cobb laying on the train tracks and Marty McFly running up to him? He's like, Cobb, we gotta go. It's your wife. Or Doc Brown. It's your wife, Cobb. She didn't jump off the ledge. You killed her. I don't know. Let's just keep going. But that good crossover. I agree with you. Could you imagine Leonardo DiCaprio in that DeLorean? Terminator versus RoboCop. Yeah, they teased that. They had a video game on that, I remember. It wasn't very good, but I remember it. All right, we got one here from EMAC2411 who says, you should watch Peacemaker Season 2 on HBO Max. John Cena's best acting ever, doing dramatic acting, perfect casting as Peacemaker. It's a Man of Tomorrow prequel. It came out a month after Superman in August 2025. Peacemaker will be a big part of the DCU. I like John Cena. I watched a few episodes of Peacemaker. I just couldn't get that into it. It's like, I don't know if it's like a series that I like need to watch. Like after a few episodes, I'm like, they should have just made a 90-minute movie and been done. I get it. I like looking at John Cena in his underwear looking all veiny. I didn't get into it, but maybe one of these days I'll check it out. Are you watching Daredevil Born Again? I don't know. Once again, it's another one of those. Here, can I tell you guys something? I'm just going to lay it out for you. There's very few series based on comic books that keep my attention. When it comes to the movies, I love them. But when you have like an 8-part, 9-part series based around a comic book character, sometimes the fatal flaw in those things are they try to make us care about other things besides that iconic character. And for me, some of the secondary characters just aren't interesting enough. And some of the episodes just feel like filler episodes. And I just feel like, once again, when it comes to comic book characters, they're best presented in just like a 2-hour movie. And I liked the Daredevil series, like the first couple seasons. But the last one I thought was, So I don't know. Was it good? Did it blow you away? I haven't heard many people talking about it too much. Like, I haven't heard anyone say, yeah, it's amazing, you have to watch it. And that's from people who have seen the entire series with some screeners. So, Terminator in the Walking Dead universe. Now, that would be interesting. I agree, season 2 was okay. Do you think Back to the Future could be remade today? Well, you could remake anything today. Will it be good? Probably not. But do I think had they made like a Back to the Future loose sequel, not a reboot, but like a sequel with like young Tom Holland back in like 2017 or something, do I think that could have worked? Yes. But we talked about this on the last live show. And someone asked me, they're like, what would you do with a Back to the Future remake? And I basically said Tom Holland, but though he's a little too old now. And I said Dr. Brown should be played by Nicolas Cage. And I think if you did those two things, part of me might enjoy the movie. I'm not saying it would be good. I'm not saying it would be better. All I'm saying is I would be mildly entertained by it. And maybe they go back and stop 9/11. Okay, whatever. Okay, whatever you want to do with that. They go back and stop the sinking of the Titanic. How's that? Jason Nelson says, what's your favorite military survival film? Lone Survivor. Oh, dude, I got to go with Saving Private Ryan. You got to go with Saving Private Ryan, right? That opening scene on Normandy Beach, just a group of soldiers trying to survive the behind the front lines. Oh, such a brilliant film. So probably Saving Private Ryan. Trying to think of another military survival film I quite enjoy. I know there's something else I'm not thinking of right now. I'm going to go with Saving Private Ryan. There was something else, though, I had. Now I can't remember it. Happy Easter, John. Well, happy Easter to all of you. I never got... Drake and Josh was when I was in high school, so I wasn't really that into it. I was more into driving my car and finding the ladies. 1917 was good. Fury was good. But, I mean, do those even compare? Are those even in the same universe as Saving Private Ryan? Dunkirk was good, but upon a rewatch, I don't like it as much as I once thought I did. Season 3 of Daredevil is my favorite season from Dustin Rich. Okay, well, good to know, man. Okay, well, I kind of want to watch it now. Thomas McCollin says, Inception and Nightmare on Elm Street, Back to the Future, and Bill and Ted. That would be a good mix. Nightmare on Elm Street mixed with Back to the Future could be interesting. What would you do with that? I'm not quite sure. Jason Nelson says, we answered that one. It's your dreams, Marty. There's a child predator in them. Hunter12555 says, hey, John, decade plus long follower. What did you think of Primate? I watched it last night and the score was part great? Urcularly? Is that a real word? Urcularly? Anyway, I'll pretend like that's a real word that I don't know what that means. Urcularly? I got to see what this means. You typed well, that you said iCarly. What did you mean? Anyway, I don't remember the score too much to Primate. I did not like the movie that much. I did talk about it on a live stream when it came out. I thought it was sort of like a waste of potential. Like, don't get me wrong, I like a good killer monkey B-rate horror flick. I thought the setting to Primate was kind of cool, where it's set on the cliffside house and there's a pool and it's a small scale story, but you could just tell that they kind of ran out of shit to do with this like killer monkey. All he did was sit on the side of the pool as they sat inside of it and made every stupid decision that they possibly could. And I just thought they could have done more with the location and the concept than what they did. It kind of was like, after I was done watching it, it just kind of felt like a Shudder movie that you'd watch at 3 o'clock in the morning and fall asleep to and never continue watching the next day because there's not much to like hook you. So anyway, did you say you liked it? Yeah, you said the score was great. Yeah, I just don't remember the score to the movie that much, man. But thank you for the question. And here's a party popper for you. iCarly is great. I didn't watch all the Disney shows in the mid to late 2000s. Just like I was watching other. I liked Disney in the 90s, but like after like 2000, I wasn't watching Disney shows. I'm sorry, guys. The Movie Maniac 2018 says, "Yo, John, would you be excited for a third Smile movie?" I did like Smile 2 than the first one, so there's that. I thought it was okay. It's kind of like one of those horror movies you watch once. I would watch a third Smile movie. Is it necessarily... I kind of like scarier, grittier movies. You know, when everyone's just smiling and that's the scary trope of the movie. I don't know, man. It kind of feels like they're TikTok horror movies to me in a way. I want some more grit. I want some more slasher movies. I want more Texas Chainsaw Massacres. But good Texas Chainsaw Massacres. Not like the terrible ones they keep crapping out for the last like 10 years. But I'd watch another Smile movie. EMAC2411 says, "You missed my question earlier, John. Please read it and give your thoughts." I talked about season 2 of Peacemaker. Did I miss another question from you, EMAC? Let me see, buddy. Let me scroll way down. Way down. I think I answered your question. I don't think I missed it. If I did, can you retype it in the normal chat and I'll answer it? Because I don't see it on here. And if I did miss it, I am so sorry. Okay. Robert Downey Jr. is a one-note actor. He has his thing, and that's that. Yeah, but he has charisma. And if you just put him in the right role, he will carry it. It's like Nicolas Cage. You put him in the right role, that charisma will elevate the role. But he makes a good Iron Man, doesn't he? Okay, the next one comes from... Giacinta6323 says, "Oddly enough, I'm in a Facebook group that is dedicated to spreading the word that Matthew Broderick killed someone while operating a car in Ireland, and the fact that no one talks about it." Well, I'm very familiar with this. Back in, I want to say, what was it, 1988, 1986? It was right after the release of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He and his co-star or girlfriend at the time, who was that Sloane? Yeah, it was Sloane from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He was dating her, right? Or somebody else. They were in Ireland. He had a drink or two and accidentally killed someone with his car. And he ended up getting out of it and paying like a fine, or he was convicted of like a infraction or something. So yes, Matthew Broderick did in fact kill someone. with a car. Yeah, pretty dark, isn't it? And he may or may not have been drinking or be under the influence. So there's that. But you know, when you got money and fame, you can get out of anything, especially manslaughter charges. So there's that. But I am very familiar with that. Now, does that taint my viewpoint of Matthew Broderick? I don't know. I still like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but is he a murderer? Yes. But I'm glad you're in a Facebook group spreading the word. So I do appreciate that, man. Max Bruss. How's it going, Max Bruss? Here it goes. Hey, John. I've been watching since 2013, but I haven't gotten around to ever asking you a question somehow. Are you looking forward to the adventures of Cliff Booth? Did you see the trailer? Well, thanks for the question, Max Bruss, and a very generous question of you. So you get a glorious. I'm going to give you a double barrel party popper, right from me to you, man. I'm going to stand up when I give it to you. That's how I like to give it. You ready for it, Max? 3, 2, 1. And keep the change, you filthy animal. So, to answer your question, yes, I am very excited for it. I did see the previous... Did they come out with a new trailer for it? I saw the Super Bowl trailer for the adventures of Cliff Booth. Now, when it comes to Tarantino's movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I loved it. I've probably rewatched that movie like 10 times. It's very comforting to me. You know, it's like one of those comfort food movies, and I know that sounds weird, but I quite enjoy watching it. I like that time period, and I love the dynamic and the buddy and the camaraderie between Cliff Booth and Rick Dalton. And I like me some Rick Dalton in that movie quite a bit. Get this mechanical asshole out of here. This is private property. But anyway, I'm definitely looking forward to the Netflix movie, and it's directed by David Fincher, so I'm hoping it's good. I haven't really enjoyed the last couple Netflixy David Fincher movies, but I am looking forward to it. I think they spent like an ungodly amount of money on this movie. Like, was it like $200 million or something? Like, I don't know. So I'm hoping it's good, and I am definitely looking forward to it. It's probably like one of my more anticipated movies of the summer. So thanks for the question, man. Can't wait to check it out. Yeah, did they come out with a new trailer or something for it? I don't know. Adventures. And it takes place after the events of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, doesn't it? Yeah, I don't see a new trailer. I see the Super Bowl trailer, so that's all we really have. All right. Robert Downey Jr. as Doc Brown. No, I want Nick Cage. If there's no Nick Cage as Doc Brown, I don't want it. I hope Cliff Booth gets to fight other worse criminals in history and hang out with other actors. Hey, if they just did that, I'd be okay with it. Like, he already fought Bruce Lee. He can fight somebody else now, like Chuck Norris or something. I don't know. But thanks for the question, man. And thanks for watching for the last, 15 years. 2013, take me back now. The golden age of YouTube and cinema. All right, Night King 01 back again says, even people like Danny Trejo have more charisma than almost all A-listers today. He had presence. These guys today feel like wallpaper. They don't feel like they lived lives. Most actors back in the day came from different backgrounds. Well, yeah, everyone now comes from nepotism. They don't know the struggles of life, thus you can see it on their expressions when they're trying to act. Yeah, everyone just wants to be like a generic actor guy. They just can't be different. They want to fit in. And when you try to appease everyone, you appease no one. Like, I can't remember the last iconic performance I've seen. Thoughts on Miz, the wrestler from WWE? I've never been a fan. I hate the way he wrestles. He's good on the mic, but his matches are just really boring. It looks like he's afraid to like take a bump. Chuck Norris didn't flush toilets. He scared the shit out of them. I like it. That's a good one. A glitch in the code says, thoughts on the movie Legend with Tom Cruise. Dude, I watched part of that once. I never watched the whole thing. It was one of those weird dark fantasy movies from the 1980s. And then you had Legend, and then you had Val Kilmer's fantasy movie. Oh, what was that called? Willow. Yeah, Willow. And like for 20 years, for some odd reason, I thought they were the same movie. And then I was like, oh, they're separate. But I don't remember Legend at all. It's not very good, right? I remember like there's a Satanist looking guy. Legend movie, Tom. Yeah, it's got a 6.3 in IMDb. Yeah, here's what I'm talking about. Look at Satan right there.
Promising to show you. Always go now? Because I'll be here for a short while.
Only be here for a short while.
You trust me?
That's cool. I like the music. That was cool. I feel like that's not probably in the movie, though. That's just trailer music. But do you guys like Legend? Let me know. My favorite biopic is probably Forrest Gump. I'm just kidding. But I wish it was based on a real man. I'm just putting it out there. Gosh, that's a good, like, I liked The Aviator a little bit. I'll tell you a biopic I really enjoyed. I'll keep it real with you, and it's based on a real man, or at least let me double check because I think it is. Hang on. Okay, good. I'll tell you. You know what? I'll tell you the most moving, provoking, gritty biopic I've ever seen, and visually I can still like remember the first time I watched it and how shocking it was. It's Roman Polanski, speaking of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Roman Polanski's The Pianist with Adrian Brody, which is based on a true story of a man during who I think it was Poland or Germany or somewhere during the Holocaust and World War II. But The Pianist, man, the way it shows the brutality in that movie, like there's a scene where he and his family are just sitting at the dinner table in their like high-rise apartment building. And all of a sudden the Nazis like invade the apartment building across the street. And they show a viewpoint of it. And you just see them going up and down the stairs of this apartment building. And they go into an apartment of a family right across the alleyway from them. And they just take the family and throw them over the ledge onto the asphalt street 5 stories below, then get in their car and just drive away. And it's the most like shocking, brutal shit ever. And if you've never seen The Pianist, watch it sometime. You know, get the family together and watch The Pianist tomorrow on Easter. Do you have Point Break in 4K, John? Absolutely. I have the Steelbook. Catch Me If You Can. Yeah, that's also another. Catch Me If You Can. I think a lot of his stories have come out and they've been proven false. So it's biopic loosey-goosey. But yes, if I had to pick the most fun, enjoyable biopic, it probably, absolutely, yes. Catch Me If You Can. I love a good con man movie. It was Warsaw, Poland. Okay, yes. I remember Poland. I like The Pianist more than Schindler's List. Just putting it out there. But Catch Me If You Can. Yeah, another great biopic would probably be. Oh gosh, I don't know. The movie Hook, about a lawyer who goes to Fantasyland and finds his inner childhood. That's based on a true story, isn't it? That's hopefully my true story. Okay. The next one comes from Murph MM, who says, would Project Hail Mary be better with one or two more scenes of Rocky eating? Oh, I would love to see Rocky consuming food through his anal cavity. Yes, quite a bit. Isn't that how people eat, or no? Okay. Anyway, they could have easily added that instead of Skittles ad and the bar/karaoke sequence. I get why they added the karaoke sequence with the main chick to give her a little bit of humanity, but I completely agree. There was so much of Rocky and other sequences that should have been in the movie that were cut out. And it's like you're taking the most interesting aspect of your movie and limiting it. Stop. Don't do that. More of Rocky. What's another 10 minutes of runtime? It's already 2 hours and 40 minutes. Just make this thing 3 hours. I was actually going to do another main topic tonight talking about movies' runtimes, but we got off topic with the questions. So if you want me to dive into that main topic, I can, but I don't have to. I'll let you guys decide. Wolf movie is pretty exaggerated. Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street's another great biopic. Absolutely. Yes, very exaggerated, but I don't care. It's got Margot Robbie in it. You just want to be friends? All right. The next one comes from Alan Smithy, 9227, who says, hey, John. Super stressful week due to the rainwater drainage issue caused by non-HOA approved duct tiles installed in my condo by a previous owner. As a home inspector, please explain whose ass I should kick. Well, it depends, man. I don't know what kind of... What do you have? Drainage issue caused by non-HOA approved... Well, yeah, I would go to the contractor who installed those, because clearly maybe he didn't do something right. But it's been a very rainy week, and you have to understand with the water table during the spring season, after all the thawing of the snow, the ground is super saturated. And if you have clay soil, it's even more saturated. So sometimes this happens. So if you would have had a sump pump to remove the water from the drain tiles, that would have been useful. Or what you could do is go to Amazon and buy like a cheap little $100 pump with a hose, put it down in the drain tiles, and suck the extra water out every hour. That could be an option. But I understand your pain. I have some, we're getting complicated here, but I have some sub-slab duct work around my house. And with all the water, it seeps into the duct work under the slab of my house. So there's like a little tiny river in the ductwork of my house that I have to like suck out. Don't even get me started. So I would go to the contractor who installed that and see what's going on with that, man. But it's sort of hard to predict things like that. But I would look at the drainage around your house. Make sure your downspout extensions are extending 6 to 10 feet away. And that would be step number 1. And step number 2 is make sure the slope and the grading around your residency is, it should slope, 10 inches for every, or 6 inches for every 10 feet. All right. So I hope that helps. That comes from Home Inspector John. And here's a party popper. Will that fix the flooding? Absolutely not. But I hope it'll put a smile on your face. Just put a swimming pool in your basement. It'll be fun, man. Treat it like a little vacation. I heard Kurt Russell played Elvis in a TV movie. Biopic is kind of a good. You should see it. Yeah, I've seen clips of that. I know what you're talking about. I never watched the movie. Can I just be honest? I think Elvis is kind of cool. Some good music every once in a while, but I'm not a big Elvis Presley guy. I ain't nothing but a hound dog. I'm crying all the time. All right. Are those Tony Stark glasses? No, these are Nicolas Cage glasses from the movie, whatever that was called. That Nicolas Cage movie with Pedro Pascal. The title of the movie I will never remember. It wasn't a very good movie. Nicolas Cage basically plays Nicolas Cage. But it's literally the glasses from that movie. They sent it to me when that movie came out. And I love them. I really just wanted that party popper. Well, thank you, man. Thank you, Alan Smithy. Thank you for the question, buddy. And we got one more question here. I worked on the Aviator and provided newsreel shots. That's cool, man. So you recorded the newsreels? Okay. Very interesting. I was hoping you would have said, yeah, I worked in the props department and I provided the piss for the pickle jars that Howard Hughes pissed in when he locked himself away and grew out his fingernails like a madman. They're Daredevil glasses. Don't lie, John. They are. Yes, that Nicolas Cage movie is called The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. That is, I will never remember that title, ever. I have not remembered it since the movie has come out. The Fighter was a great biopic. Yeah, it was pretty good. I liked Christian Bale's crackhead performance in that. You always misquote movies. Like what? What did I misquote? I paraphrase things. I like to make things original. I was in Mega Replay, my local physical media store tonight, and I was right behind a crackhead. He was all moving and itchy and scratchy and trying to sell old DVDs to support his habit. He kept looking at me. Okay, guys, I'm going to answer just a few more questions, and I think I'm going to wrap up tonight's live show. So if you got anything juicy or magical and maybe slightly mystical, let me know. Have you ever watched The Inbetweeners? It's similar to Superbad, but English, from Thomas McCullough. I have not seen that, no. Roger something says, I did laugh in the last Chainsaw Massacre movie when they try to cancel Leatherface and he turns everyone on. When he turns everyone on the bus into mincemeat. I did enjoy that. They're all recording him and he just chainsaws them. Yeah, that was entertaining. I wouldn't say it was good, but entertaining. All right. Have you seen the Robert Downey Jr. Chaplin? Another great biopic from Richard Attenborough. Dude, I think one time I started that Robert Downey Jr. I remember the trailer for it because every movie that I rented on VHS back in like 1993 or 94 played that trailer, but I never watched the movie. I never watched it. I've never heard anyone talk about it either. So let me know. You said you say it's good? Let me know. What YouTube channels do you like to watch? I watch the weirdest stuff on YouTube. I watch a guy named Flippity Flip who goes to like Goodwills and flea markets and he buys stuff to sell on eBay, but he primarily deals in physical media, and that's always kind of fun to watch because he'll talk about like out of print Blu-rays and stuff. I watch him. I watch a lot of pro wrestling channels like Wrestle Talk and What Culture or whatever. I like that. Or WrestleLamia. I think that's one of them. I watch a lot of random YouTube channels. I don't watch a lot. Like, oddly enough, I don't watch a lot of movie-related YouTube channels. I don't remember what I watch on YouTube, to be honest with you. Let me see. I watch Mr. Santy's app every once in a while. Let's see. Sometimes I watch Linus Tech Tips. Sometimes. Let's see. I mean, I watch all my buddies on YouTube occasionally if they have a video that piques my interest. I sometimes, like, there's a lot of channels, there's a lot of videos I watch of things, but not necessarily the entire channel. Like, there's one YouTube channel called Flying Wheels. He's like a used car dealer. He sells cars. Don't ask me why. I watch it. But the thing I watch the least amount of are like movie reviews. I just don't watch people's movie reviews on YouTube. I don't know. I think I'm burnt out on them. I got some John Campea in my sub box. Occasionally I'll watch a little John Campea. And for our next main topic, I watch a lot of random shit, man. I don't know. We'll go with that. Your movie sucks. I used to watch. I haven't really watched him in a long time. I don't really watch like new rock star stuff. That's too hyperbolic for me. I like watching like, what else? Oh, there's a guy I watch his name is Trent the Traveler. He's a dude who lives in his like, RV camper, but it's really cool and decked out. And it's really awesome. And like another version of me would like to make a YouTube channel sort of like that. Trent the Traveler. It's really cozy, really nice guy. It's good stuff. He's always traveling around. He has a cool camper. He plays video games in his camper van. It's pretty awesome. Do you still have contact with Crazy Jason? We were texting a month or two ago, just very casually. I think he's doing okay, but you know, that's his, I don't know much else with what's going on with his life. I'd like to catch up with him, man. Yeah, I don't like watching breakdowns of stuff. I just don't. I don't know why. It gives me anxiety the way they talk, the new rock stars. Thomas McCullen says, did you see the meme of Pedro Pascal and Eddie Guerrero? Where they were going to make like an Eddie Guerrero movie with Pedro Pascal on it. I think I did see the gif of that or whatever. Do you ever watch ASMR? I don't necessarily watch ASMR, but there are some YouTube videos where they're kind of relaxing or people just like vlogging their life where I get a little bit of that in there. But I don't necessarily watch the videos where they talk like this. And for our next question, everyone, we're going to talk about, it's been a while, John. Good to see you. Well, that's not really a question, more of a statement. But thank you for that. So let's go to the next one here. I don't really watch a lot of ASMR. But the ASMR here on this channel are party poppers. It's very relaxing. Are you ready for it? But anyway, Eisenator, thanks for the question, man. It's good to see you too, buddy. Thank you for joining me. Lewis Berry, why do you keep saying that? What's Lewis Berry saying? Amy Madigan as Gladys was an iconic modern performance. Well, thank you for that. Did I answer it? You didn't even ask a question. You made a statement. And there's a difference between a statement and a question, isn't there? If you ask me a question, I will answer it. Let's go to the next one. Dustin Rich says, if there was a new Conan movie, who do you think should play him? Well, I don't know, man. The last one we got wasn't Jason Momoa in the last one? I don't know. Who could play a new Conan the Barbarian? I don't know. What's his name? Alan Richardson, who just punched a guy in the face. Let's have him do it. Can we get a Cool Duder impression? Only because I love him so much. And Cool Duder was one of the first YouTube channels I ever subscribed to. So that's why I will do an impression of Cool Duder. Hey guys, welcome to my DVD update for September 5th, 1995. And that's it. New 4K movie collection coming soon. I could probably whip one of those bad boys out. I mean, it's kind of time to talk about my movie collection. I've been meaning to do it. I just started a new job a while ago, so it's sort of been draining my energy levels, but I would like to do it. I think I should do it. We'll kick off the summer season with that. How's that? I'm addicted to soap cutting videos from Dustin Rich. Hey, I get it, man. I would probably watch a little of that on TikTok when I was on the toilet. Yes, I agree, Lewis Berry. I completely agree. They're remaking the Resident Evil movie right now. I hope they get the tone of that right. Who's directing that? They need to make like a good Resident Evil franchise. dark, scary, suspenseful. Not this like wannabe Matrix bullshit with Mila Jovovich flipping around. The Eisenator, thanks for the sticker, man. I like it. Arnold should make an old man Conan movie. Well, I could see Arnold being in an like the old man role in that movie. Absolutely. Sitting on a throne somewhere or something. All right, guys. It's 1:40 in the morning. And I do want to say, guys, thank you so much for joining me for this late night movie talk. For some odd reason, these late night movie talks, I get more viewers and more questions. It's like, I don't know if I'm only making videos for a genre of vampires or something. But then again, when I built my entire YouTube career on being a late night vampire, I guess that's the following I have now. So there's that. So yeah, we'll keep doing some more late night live shows on the weekends. Not on the weekdays because I'm an old man now and I have to go to bed by 10:30 or else my back will hurt the next day. But nevertheless, guys, thank you so much for joining me for this live show. Thanks for hanging out tonight and have a happy Easter. And, you know, whatever you guys do to celebrate Easter, nevertheless, I hope you guys eat some hard-boiled eggs and some candies shaped like bunnies. And we got one last question here. And oh man, we got a generous question here from Andrew Dodd. Is it Dodderidge? Andrew Dodder? Is it Dodderidge? Anyway, Andrew Dodderidge. Here it goes, man. Great to see you still chugging along here. Longtime follower for over 10 years. Always seem to cheer me up. Well, man, thank you so much for that. And I love when people say, I've been watching your stupid face for 10 years, man. And I like that. It's nice to know that some people never leave you in life. And I can tell you this, if you never leave me, I'll never leave you. It'll be a symbiotic relationship where we're stuck together for eternity. Good or bad, we'll still be here together. But thanks for the question, Andrew. Thank you so much for that, man. That does mean a lot. That really does. And that makes me happy. You know what? If watching my videos makes you happy, you watching my videos makes me happy. It really does. So I love longtime followers, and I respect you guys, and I love you. Have a good Easter, Johnny from Roger something. We got Louis Berry here one more time. Louis Berry says, Weapons and Barbarian is directing Resident Evil. Oh, the dude from Weapons and Barbarian? Okay. That's good. That gives me some hope. He has a good eye. He knows how to direct suspense. And the thing about Weapons and Barbarian is like every act of the movie tonally feels like a different movie. So I like that he can kind of do whatever he wants with Resident Evil. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, well, I have some faith in that. I think it at least will have... I think they'll get the tone right, at least. Good. Okay, see, that's good news. A competent director directing an IP. Okay, good to know. Is the thumbnail AI generated? No, man, I made that in Photoshop. Absolutely not. Okay, it had a little help from Grok. I made most of it, but I had a little help. Okay, that's all I'm saying. It added a little digital filter to it just to make it pop a little more. But that's all. I made the most of it. I actually made the last one on the last live show. I made that one and just spruced it up a little bit. Great test screenings. Good to know. I think Dave Bautista is an okay actor, depending on which role you put him in. Louis Berry says, thoughts on Mario Galaxy movie. I talked about that earlier, Louis. I did not see the movie, but here's my review without seeing Mario Galaxy. It's a generic, sloppy family film that you'll instantly forget about, with a whole bunch of Nintendo IP characters slopped into a mediocre story that almost feels discombobulating at best. Will little kids enjoy looking at it for an hour and a half? Sure. Is it a movie that will matter instantly once you leave the theater? No, it will not. Will we talk about it in 2 more weeks? Probably not. That's my review of a movie I have not seen yet. And if you have seen it, how close was that review? Let me know. Mario Galaxy was decent. Yeah, I maybe I'll go see it tomorrow just to cap off the weekend for something to do. But I just could not bring myself to leave the house to go watch it. And plus, it's a kid's movie. So I know I'm going to go to the theater. There's going to be a whole bunch of 60-year-olds in there just screaming. And I'm just I'll go watch it when audiences die off a little bit. I'll go watch it on a Tuesday night. Dustin Rich says, my son could eat a chicken sandwich. My son can eat a chicken sandwich? Freddy Got Fingered. What a great movie. My son can eat a chicken sandwich. Daddy, would you like some sausage? I didn't even remember the first the first Mario movie was just Chris Pratt was the plumber. They went somewhere. Donkey Kong showed up and Bowser did something, right? Louis Berry back again says, thoughts on Scooby-Doo Origins cast. I don't even know what that is, man. I said I was leaving 10 minutes ago. Scooby-Doo Origins cast. Who do we got? I like this. Oh, I don't even know who these people are. A whole bunch of unknown people. Okay. I don't know who any of these actors are. This looks like Sabrina Carpenter, but it's not. Okay. What is this, like a made for Disney movie? What is this going to be? I don't know. I never watched any of the live action Scooby-Doo movies with Freddie Prinze Jr. So, but I don't know if I'll watch this new one either. Is it going to be like a Netflix movie? Is this a real movie? You could never leave, John. Yeah, it seems that way. Any April Fool's pranks you did? Honestly, I was thinking about... Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I was thinking about doing a live stream on April Fool's. And I was going to make it the most clickbaity title of all time. And I was going to make a thumbnail that was super, super clickbaity. And I was like, okay, I'll set up the live stream to start. But and I was going to have... have a countdown timer that just never ended. And I thought about doing it, and I was just it's okay. Now, years ago, I did an April Fool's Day prank, and I did my movie collection video. And what I did was I started out the movie collection, and I was like, okay, I'm going to start the collection. I walked off screen, and for the next hour of the video, it was just the camera staring at the shelf of all my DVDs on it. And at the very end of the hour, I came back on screen and I said, okay, that was my collection. Did you enjoy it? Thanks. See you next time. And then I deleted the video. I think a lot of people got mad about it too. It was kind of weird. But anyway, I did not do any April Fool's Day pranks this year. All right. Okay. I think I can safely leave now. I don't think anyone else has asked another question. Oh, we just got another question. Okay. All right. Let's make this the last question of the night. Here it goes. Dalialine says, just learned our first child will be a girl. What movies would you feel compelled to show your daughter when she's of age? The substance seems crucial. Laugh out loud. Absolutely. I'll tell you the most pivotal movie you should show a young girl to truly terrify her away from strangers and keep her safe in life. And 3, 2, 1, that movie is the classic, The Silence of the Lambs. It'll teach you to never help a man put furniture in the back of their van because you will end up in a well down in his basement putting the lotion on your skin, or else it gets the hose again. It does this whenever it's told. So probably Silence of the Lambs. I think that'll be a crucial movie to show my daughter one day. Just putting it out there. Best advice you can give them. And then, of course, other classics like Jurassic Park and Back to the Future and Land Before Time and whatnot. All right. But thank you for the question. So, yeah, show her Silence of the Lambs. I think that'll be good for her teenage years. And you get a party popper. These party poppers are louder tonight. I'm telling you, man. All right. Lewis Berry has 2 more questions. Lewis Berry, come on, man. All right. You're killing me here. Have you watched Monarch Season 2? I have not watched Monarch Season 2 or Monarch Season 1 to answer that question. And Lewis Berry says, by the way, Egon's granddaughter is Daphne. Well, in like real life or is it the girl from Ghostbusters? Or is that really his granddaughter? And there was some nepotism here. I don't know. Who's going to voice Scooby-Doo? That's my biggest question. The Human Centipede is a family classic. I think everyone should watch The Human Centipede on Easter. I really do. Okay, just stay up till 3. I'm so tired. I have to go to sleep. I'm so tired. Okay. All right, guys. With all that said, I'm gonna leave it there. I want to say thank you guys for the questions. Thanks for hanging out. And it's almost 2 o'clock, and I have got to go to sleep. My heating pad is calling my name, and I need to go chug this. Actually, I'm going to chug this Gatorade right now. You get to watch me. Are you ready for it? That's called hydration. Remember that. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time with a brand new live show. And have a good night and have a good Easter, everybody. Bye-bye. I got to remember how to end this. Oh, yeah, here it is. Okay.